Chapter 1417. The Crocodile God. Dai Jin inhaled a breath of cold air, looked at Yang Feng with fear in her eyes, and uttered decisively, "Okay. I'll take you to see the Great Elder." The Crocodile God is the guardian of the blue butterfly race. Yet such a fearsome existence was easily killed by Yang Feng. Yang Feng's strength is evident. The entire blue butterfly race can't withstand the wrath of such a fearsome powerhouse. Dai Jin isn't stupid. Naturally, she doesn't dare to anger Yang Feng. "I am Dai Hua, the Great Elder of the blue butterfly race. Greetings, sir. How do I address you, sir?" In the city master's mansion in the center of the blue butterfly city, a handsome, tall, middle-aged man bowed to Yang Feng and spoke respectfully. "My name is Yang Feng. I killed the crocodile god you worship." Yang Feng looked at the bright world warlock rank Dai Hua with an enigmatic smile, and holy step might slowly spread from him. "Thank you, my lord, for helping us and getting rid of that evil god, saving our race from being enslaved by the evil god. We are willing to do everything we can to serve you, sir. Please become the new guardian deity of our race, my lord." Dai Hua knelt on the ground, kowtowed repeatedly, and spoke respectfully. "Please become my blue butterfly clan's guardian god." In the city master's mansion, all the blue butterfly powerhouses knelt on the ground and spoke respectfully. In the universe, there were as many elites as there were clouds. There were countless powerful beasts, strange beasts, and god beasts. True spirit-ranked divine beasts such as dragons, phoenixes, cheetahs, and black tortoises are very common in the universe. A small race like the blue butterfly race, whose strongest powerhouse is only a bright world warlock rank powerhouse, will face a miserable fate if they don't have the protection of a powerful existence. For a weak race like the blue butterfly race, survival is the top priority. Only after surviving can they consider fighting for power and profit. Yang Feng uttered flatly, "Offer me the treasury and ancient books of your race. Let me take a look, and then I'll consider it." Dai Hua replied respectfully, "Yes, sir." The treasury of the blue butterfly race was open to Yang Feng, and all kinds of ancient books of the blue butterfly race were delivered to Yang Feng. Although the blue butterfly clan was only a small clan, their ancestors had once been glorious. The strongest is a warlock monarch rank powerhouse. The eternal world was divided into many realms. The domain lord of each realm was an eternal level powerhouse. Yang Feng is currently in the heavenly domain. The top expert of the desolate heaven domain was the domain master of the desolate heaven domain. Below the region lords were the nations ruled by the various emperors. There were 33 countries in the desolate heaven region, and each of them was presided over by 33 emperors. At the time, the warlock monarch rank ancestor of the blue butterfly race served the ruler of the Feiyang state in the heavenly desolate realm. Later, he offended the bigwigs of the Feiyang state and was banished to this savage land. The blue butterfly clan was far away from the center of the Feiyang kingdom, and they couldn't obtain cultivation resources, so they became weaker and weaker. In the end, the strongest powerhouses of the race degenerated to the bright world warlock rank. In this universe, the highest levels of elites were still saints, emperors, eternal ones, and eternal kings. These blue butterfly beauties are a natural variant. Their special force can increase the odds of a powerhouse stepping into the Empyrean realm. No wonder the crocodile god asked for the blue butterfly beauties. In a beautiful rear garden, Yang Feng sat on a sofa with a beautiful girl of the blue butterfly clan kneeling beside him, Butterfly Yun. Butterfly Li, dressed in a black and white lace-made dress, kneeled on the other side of Yang Feng and peeled fruits with a sweet smile on her face. If it wasn't for Yang Feng, the mother and daughter would have died tragically in the mouth of the crocodile god. After Yang Feng obtained all the treasures of the blue butterfly race, he was surprised to find many good treasures. In this barren land, there are some precious resources that can even increase the odds of saints and Empyreans breaking through bottlenecks. The blue butterfly beauties are also a precious resource. Whether it is by copulating with them or by using Devour's secret method to devour their life force, you can absorb the special force inside them and enhance your strength. Of course, even with the power of the crocodile god, devouring 1 or 2 blue butterfly beauties every year is the limit. The Feiyang state's crown prince has arrived. A thunderous voice erupted in the void and swept in all directions. The Feiyang state's crown prince. Why would such a bigwig come here? The blue butterfly Great Elder Dai Hua was both surprised and overjoyed, and her eyes shimmered with a complicated shade. The crown prince of the Feiyang kingdom was a big shot. If he could curry favor with the crown prince of the Feiyang kingdom, if she can curry favor with the Feiyang state's crown prince, the blue butterfly race will be able to leave this resource-barren land and regain its glory in the future. No matter how talented you are or how tyrannical your secret methods are, without resources, you can't practice cultivation and advance to the next realm. In this barren land, the blue butterfly clan would only grow weaker and weaker until they were finally exterminated. A gold chariot flew over from afar. Inside the gold chariot, there is a handsome young man with waist-length hair and a mysterious mark on his forehead. In front of the gold chariot, there are 9 dragons pulling it. Each dragon has pure true dragon bloodline flowing through them and exudes great holy step fluctuations of power. Beside the golden chariot stood 4 young girls. Each of them was a peerlessly beautiful and stunning beauty. The 4 of them are exuding Holy Spirit Warlock rank fluctuations of power. Behind the gold chariot, there is an elite legion of 500 people. Among the elite legion, the weakest is a Warlock Monarch rank powerhouse, and the legion commander is a pinnacle great holy rank existence. Greetings, Blue Butterfly Great Elder Dai Hua, greets the Feiyang Crown Prince. Dai Hua led the upper echelon of the Blue Butterfly race to kneel on the ground respectfully and salute the Feiyang Crown Prince. Among the upper echelon of the Blue Butterfly race, there are many beautiful girls, each of whom is extremely beautiful and has their own charm. A short-haired and very capable young saint standing beside the golden chariot glanced at the Blue Butterfly race beauties below, and a look of disdain flashed across her beautiful eyes. A mere girl from a low-class race wants to be loved by the crown prince? She really doesn't know her place. How dare you? Why didn't you kneel before His Highness the Crown Prince? A beautiful young girl with blonde hair, dressed in a gold armor, and exuding a heroic temperament pointed at Yang Feng with a silver spear in her hand and barked coldly. When Dai Hua saw Yang Feng standing proudly, she was scared out of her wits at once, and she gritted her teeth and uttered, "Your Highness the Crown Prince, this is the guardian of my race, Sir Yang Feng. He was also a great saint." There was a look of surprise in the eyes of the Feiyang Crown Prince, and he uttered in an aloof tone, "Holy, I didn't expect to meet a holy in this remote place. Yang Feng, I appreciate you very much. Are you willing to serve me?" The Feiyang Crown Prince is the successor of the Feiyang state. When he steps into the Emperor realm, he will become the ruler of the Feiyang state. In the Feiyang state, many holy step experts have already sided with him. Yang Feng uttered with a faint smile, "In the eternal world, there may be someone who can make me serve him, but it won't be you." If an eternal monarch appears in front of Yang Feng and asks him to serve him, after weighing the pros and cons, Yang Feng may choose to serve that eternal monarch. After all, it is entirely possible for an eternal monarch to cross the universe and severely damage Yang Feng's eternal origin imprint. How dare you? Let me teach you a lesson. The beautiful eyes of the young girl with blonde hair shimmered coldly, and she stepped across the void, appeared in front of Yang Feng with a gold spear in hand, and stabbed at him with her spear. Yang Feng smiled faintly and flicked a finger at the young girl's gold spear. There was a loud explosion in the sky, and as if struck by lightning, the young girl was sent flying 10,000 kilometers away. So strong. The pupils of many powerhouses constricted when they saw this scene. Amazing! Yang Feng, so you're a great holy step powerhouse. Let me have a taste of what you've got. Aboard the gold chariot, the eyes of the Feiyang Crown Prince shimmered with enigmatic light, and he got up, and quasi-Emperorian rank fluctuations of power spread from him. Long live your Highness the Crown Prince. Long live your Highness the Crown Prince. The personal guards of the Feiyang Kingdom's Crown Prince cheered. Yang Feng, this is one of the strongest secret methods of the Feiyang Kingdom, the Feiyang Sky Piercer. Be careful. A cold ray flashed in the eyes of the Feiyang Crown Prince, light interwove around him, and the gold spear in his hand released wisps of immortal Empyrean might. In an instant, the Feiyong Crown Prince turned into a gold spear shrouded in sun god fire and stabbed towards Yang Feng. It's over. Seeing this scene, despair flashed in the eyes of Dai Hua and the other upper echelon members of the Blue Butterfly race. The might of the Feiyong Crown Prince's strike is earth-shattering. If Yang Feng dodges, the strike will wipe out the upper echelon members of the Blue Butterfly race. Even if Yang Feng doesn't dodge, the aftermath of the fight between the two peerless powerhouses will be enough to kill the upper echelon members of the Blue Butterfly race. Yang Feng smiled faintly and waved his hand, and a giant hand appeared and slapped the Feiyong Crown Prince. Boom! Along with a loud noise, the previously insufferably arrogant Feiyong Crown Prince was sent flying for tens of thousands of kilometers. He spewed out a large mouthful of blood, and the gold armor he wore cracked inch by inch. Empyrean! You're an Empyrean! I, the Feiyong Crown Prince, greet you, sir. The Feiyong Crown Prince's face changed several times, and he wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth. His figure fluttered, and he arrived in front of Yang Feng and bowed respectfully. Greetings, sir. The countenance of the Feiyong Crown Prince's subordinates changed dramatically, and they bowed to Yang Feng. Chapter 14:18. Empyrean. When the experts of the Blue Butterfly clan heard this, they were all dumbfounded. Their eyes flashed with disbelief and a storm was set off in their hearts. An Empyrean is a top powerhouse in the universe. The ruler of a state in a realm can decide the fate of billions of life forms with a thought. In the Heavenly First Realm, there are a total of 33 states. In each state, there are hundreds of billions of intelligent life forms. An Empyrean is a terrifying existence who decides the fate of these hundreds of billions of intelligent life forms. If an Empyrean joins an eternal sovereign, they can basically gain the power to control a state. Although the Crown Prince of the Feiyong Kingdom was extremely talented, he was only a half-martial emperor. If he angered a martial emperor, he would be killed. If he angers an Empyrean, the ruler of the Feiyong Kingdom may not take revenge for him. Yang Feng uttered indifferently, "Since you have a good attitude, I won't kill you." In Yang Feng's eyes, a quasi-Empyrean rank powerhouse is no different from an ant. He can kill them with a wave of his hand. Even if the Feiyong Kingdom's powerhouses gather, he can easily kill them all with one hand. When the Crown Prince heard this, cold sweat trickled down his back. He knows that he has encountered a peerless person. If he hadn't reacted appropriately, he would have become a corpse by now. The countenance of the Crown Prince's subordinates changed slightly, and cold sweat trickled down their backs. They are all elite experts of the Feiyong Kingdom, and they can suppress a minor race like the Blue Butterfly race by themselves. But in front of an Empyrean, they are still vulnerable. If Yang Feng wants to, he can wipe out everyone here with a casual blow. The Crown Prince uttered respectfully, "Thank you for sparing my life, sir." Yang Feng uttered indifferently, "The death penalty can be spared, but the punishment cannot be forgiven. I've traveled here from other realms, and I need all kinds of secret techniques, ancient books, and rare resources unique to the absolute heavens domain." The Crown Prince heaved a sigh of relief and responded respectfully, "Yes, sir." The eternal world is a vast and boundless world that is measured in units of hundreds of millions of light years. Countless powerhouses and terrifying existences travel the eternal world, looking for opportunities to evolve. Every year, countless experts from other domains would travel to the desolate heaven domain. Similarly, every year, countless geniuses from the desolate heaven domain would head to other domains in search of opportunities. The Crown Prince speculated that Yang Feng is an Empyrean who traveled to the heavenly absolute realm from another realm. Generally speaking, this kind of emperor needed various secret skills, knowledge, and precious resources in the heavenly absolute domain. After all, the Feiyong Kingdom was one of the kingdoms in the eternal world. It was extremely powerful and had countless precious resources, some of which were even effective for emperors. It wasn't strange for Yang Feng to ask for resources. The Crown Prince pointed with a finger, and a crystal flew into Yang Feng's hand. Yang Feng crushed the crystal, and countless secret methods, information on all kinds of treasures of heaven and earth, as well as all kinds of knowledge entered his mind and were instantly scanned into the database. As expected of the eternal world. To think that a mere Feiyang country would have so many treasures. Yang Feng's eyes lit up slightly and revealed a trace of excitement. According to the information obtained from the Crown Prince, there are many rare treasures of heaven and earth in the Feiyang country, which are extinct in the universe of the world of warlocks. If he could get those rare treasures of heaven and earth from the Feiyang country, Yang Feng could refine another level 7 stronghold. Unfortunately, the Feiyang country is a force of the domain master of the heavenly absolute realm. It's not worth it to offend an eternal sovereign for a level 7 stronghold. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly. He pondered for a while, and then gave up the idea of attacking the Feiyang country and plundering its resources. No eternal sovereign should be underestimated. As the domain master of the heavenly absolute realm is an eternal sovereign, Yang Feng doesn't know how strong he is. At this time, Yang Feng is confident that he can easily kill a level 1 eternal sovereign. However, if he encounters a level 6 eternal sovereign or above powerhouse, only death will await him. Once Yang Feng dies in the eternal world, he can be reborn in the world of warlocks. However, if he doesn't have a fortuitous encounter and stays in the world of warlocks, it will take him tens of millions of years to restore his second eternal sovereign cultivation base. Yang Feng asked with a smile, "Crown Prince Feiyang, why did you come to this barren land?" The Crown Prince's eyes shimmered with helplessness, and he smiled bitterly and gritted his teeth, saying, "Sir, I obtained information that an eternal relic site will appear in this area soon. I came here to explore the eternal ruins." The Crown Prince doesn't want to tell Yang Feng this secret. However, he knows that with his strength, it is impossible for him to conceal it from an Empyrean. In particular, the Empyrean in front of him is terrifyingly strong, perhaps even stronger than the ruler of the Feiyang country. Yang Feng's eyes lit up and the corners of his mouth rose into a smile, saying, "An eternal relic site. Not bad, I'll explore the relic site with you. We'll split the harvest 9-1, how about it?" There was a flash of bitterness in the eyes of the Crown Prince, yet he still put on a happy expression. "That's great. It's my honor to travel with you, Sir Yang Feng. Your blue butterfly race is pretty good. From today on, you will be under my protection." With a wave of Yang Feng's hand, a Holy Spirit Warlock rank lightning ruler descended from the sky and landed in the blue butterfly race's temple. In the blue butterfly race, beautiful women are as common as clouds. Moreover, blue butterfly beauties possess mystical powers that can even enhance the power of eternal sovereigns by a negligible amount. Yang Feng doesn't mind taking the blue butterfly race into his pocket and making it his first vassal race in the eternal world. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Overjoyed, Butterfly Fire knelt on the ground and said respectfully, "Thank you, Your Majesty." The blue butterfly race's people knelt on the ground, wept tears of joy, and spoke respectfully. With an Empyrean protecting them, the blue butterfly race is virtually as stable as a mountain in the Feiyang country. Even the ruler of the Feiyang country won't come to trouble them. "Let's go." Yang Feng waved his hand, and a dazzling sun chariot appeared. A quasi-empire rank Great Sun Golden Crow pulled the sun chariot and followed next to the Crown Prince Feiyang's chariot. That's a true spirit rank god beast. What a pure bloodline. As expected of an Empyrean. When the powerhouses next to the Crown Prince Feiyang saw the quasi-empire rank Great Sun Golden Crow, they inhaled a breath of cold air. True spirit-level divine beasts and fierce beasts weren't rare in the eternal world, but those true spirit-level divine beasts and fierce beasts were extremely powerful and arrogant. They wouldn't submit to anyone. For Yang Feng to be able to subdue a quasi-empire rank Great Sun Golden Crow to pull his chariot, this is simply terrifying. The ruler of the Feiyang country is also an Empyrean, but he doesn't have a true spirit rank god beast to pull his chariot. The Crown Prince Feiyang took a deep look at Yang Feng, a look of helplessness in his eyes, and he ordered, "Let's go." In the west of the barren land, there is a place shrouded in the stench of rotting corpses. Rotting corpses, distorted souls, and resentful spirits can be seen everywhere. Above the swamp of resentment, There is a 1,000-meter-long golden scroll. The golden scroll is shrouded in dense purple light, looking very mysterious. Inside the golden scroll, there are hundreds of beautiful women dressed in battle armor. Among the hundreds of beautiful women in armor, the one in the lead had a scarlet lotus tattooed on her forehead. She had long black hair that cascaded down like a waterfall, and her skin was sparkling like jade. Her figure was fiery and sexy, and she was peerlessly beautiful. Compared to the peerless beauty, the hundreds of beautiful women dressed in battle armor appear overshadowed. A gust of wind blew in the distance, and a 10,000-meter-long green rock rode the gust of wind and descended from the sky. There are a dozen-plus people standing on the back of the green rock. The one in the lead has long green hair, a pair of rock wings on his back, and an imposing and handsome appearance. I didn't expect to meet the Crimson Lotus Kingdom's Princess Crimson Lotus here. If Princess is willing to marry me, then I am willing to join forces with Princess to explore this eternal world relic site. Everything we find in the relic site can be offered to Princess. The handsome young man on the back of the green rock looked at Princess Crimson Lotus with a hint of adoration in his eyes. His words are filled with endless adoration and gentleness. Azure Peng Crown Prince of the Azure Peng Nation, you want to marry me? You're overestimating yourself. My goal is to reach the eternal realm and become an eternal one. Don't bother me in the future, or I won't mind killing you. The painting flashed slightly, and the leading beauty with a scarlet lotus on her forehead walked out with a scarlet halberd in her hand. She looked at the Azure Peng Prince icily as a sense of unruliness flickered in her eyes. The Azure Peng Prince's eyes flashed with a sense of unruliness. The Feiyong Crown Prince is here too. Just as the Azure Peng Crown Prince was about to speak, Princess Crimson Lotus raised her head slightly and looked into the void. She saw the flames of the sun roiling in the void, and a huge caravan flew over from the distance and landed here. Great Sun Golden Crow. A half-emperor Great Sun Golden Crow. To use a Great Sun Golden Crow to pull a chariot, that's a big move. What's the origin of that person? When the Azure Peng Crown Prince and Princess Crimson Lotus saw the Great Sun Golden Crow, shock welled up inside them. The Feiyong Crown Prince smiled and introduced them to Yang Feng. Sir Yang Feng, these two are the Azure Peng Crown Prince and the Crimson Lotus Princess. Interesting. Yang Feng glanced at the supreme geniuses of the two states. Mysterious runes appeared in his eyes, and he saw threads of eternity linking the Azure Peng Crown Prince and Princess Crimson Lotus. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose slightly. Are they both chess pieces of an eternal one? Interesting. Chapter 1419. The Azure Peng Crown Prince hesitated for a while, and then asked cautiously, Sir Yang Feng, are you an Empyrean? Unable to sense Yang Feng's cultivation base, the Azure Peng Crown Prince has a guess, but he still hasn't confirmed it. If the Soaring Sun Crown Prince found an ordinary person with no cultivation base to deceive them, they will become a laughingstock. Yang Feng glanced at the Azure Peng Crown Prince, and invincible overlord rank Empyrean might swept towards the Azure Peng Crown Prince and Princess Crimson Lotus. Princess Crimson Lotus's pretty face fell. What fearsome Empyrean might! This Empyrean might even surpasses that of Imperial Father. The Azure Peng Crown Prince's face flickered, and he bowed to Yang Feng and uttered, Sir, please forgive me if I offended you before. Yang Feng looked at the Azure Peng Crown Prince with an enigmatic smile and said coldly, You dare to question me? Do you think a trifling apology can erase everything? The Azure Peng Crown Prince suddenly broke out in a cold sweat, and he trembled slightly. If an invincible overlord emperor went berserk, it was entirely possible for him to annihilate everyone here. As long as they escape to another realm before the Domain Master finds out, the Domain Master won't break into another realm for such a trifle. Under normal circumstances, Empyreans from other realms won't rashly start a massacre and offend the Domain Master. But there are always exceptions. The Azure Peng Crown Prince doesn't want to die here. The Soaring Sun Crown Prince looked at the trembling Azure Peng Crown Prince with pity in his eyes, but then revealed a smile of schadenfreude. Yang Feng uttered with a faint smile, I came from another realm to get the knowledge, secret methods, and resources of the Heavenly End Realm. As long as you come up with knowledge and resources that satisfy me, I'll let this matter go. Sir. The Azure Pen Crown Prince heaved a sigh of relief and pointed with a finger. Countless rays of light shone, and a cyan crystal flew towards Yang Feng. When Yang Feng crushed the cyan crystal, countless secret methods and knowledge entered his database. Yang Feng looked at the countless secret methods and sighed. The Azure Pen Kingdom's secret methods are not bad. Unfortunately, they don't have much effect on my eternal path. Eternal sovereigns are the strongest powerhouses of the world of warlocks. Yang Feng doesn't know anything about the path beyond the eternal path. Yang Feng was able to advance to the second firmament eternal realm because he forcibly devoured an eternal sovereign and obtained formidable power. Yang Feng used Seth's eternal origin to forcibly break through to the second firmament of the eternal realm, not by practicing a secret method. As such, it is very difficult for him to continue advancing. If Yang Feng wants to get a secret method that eternal sovereigns can cultivate, he can only deduce it directly. He collected all kinds of secret skills. He wanted to use those secret skills to analyze the rules of the universe. He wanted to create a skill that even eternal people could practice. Yang Feng mused quietly, "It would be great if I could get a secret method that eternal sovereigns can cultivate." In this universe, there were as many elites as there were clouds. In fact, terrifying experts like the Eternal King exist. Secret magics above the eternal realm should also exist. Princess Red Lotus hesitated for a while, then gritted her teeth and asked, "Sir Yang Feng, can we enter the eternal relic site?" Princess Crimson Lotus hesitated for a while, then gritted her teeth and asked, "Sir Yang Feng, can we enter a relic site?" Normally speaking, if any emperor discovered an eternal ruin, then their only choice would be to monopolize the entire eternal ruin and not allow others to encroach on it. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "Hand over enough resources, and I'll let you in." Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "Hand over enough resources, and I'll let you in." But Princess Crimson Lotus waved her lily-white hand, and a spatial ball flew into Yang Feng's hand. The Azure Pen Crown Prince silently handed a palm-sized silver spatial ball to Yang Feng. Yang Feng scanned the spatial ball with his tremendous soul force and revealed a look of satisfaction, saying, "You can go in with us. But after you go in, you are responsible for your own safety." Princess Crimson Lotus and the Azure Pen Crown Prince looked at each other and smiled bitterly. At noon, a sun appeared above the swamp of resentful souls, and rays of sun god flames rained down on the great emperor. Under the burning of the sun god flame, the entire resentful soul swamp instantly turned from a strange swamp into a lake of fire shrouded in endless flames. Burned by the sun god fire, any existence below the glorious dawn warlock rank will be burned to ashes. Layers of strange shields appeared around the experts, resisting the burning of the divine sun flame. In the center of the sun, stars appeared strangely. As soon as the stars appeared, they twisted and turned into star stairs leading to the deepest part of the sun. In the deepest part of the sun, there is a distorted black hole, from which distorted and chaotic spatial fluctuations spread. So this is an eternal sight. It's really extraordinary. Azure Pen Crown Prince, you go in first. Yang Feng glanced at the distorted and chaotic spatial fluctuations, his eyes shimmered with enigmatic light, and he ordered the Azure Pen Crown Prince. "Sir." The Azure Pen Crown Prince smiled bitterly, responded, and waved his hand. A saint-rank powerhouse stepped onto the stellar staircase and entered the distorted black hole. After a quarter of an hour, the holy rank powerhouse didn't return to report, causing the Azure Pen Crown Prince's face to turn gloomy. He was about to send people to continue exploring. No need to probe. This is a spatial gate that teleports randomly. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with enigmatic light, and he stepped into the distorted black hole. A fearsome spatial force enveloped Yang Feng and teleported him out. The Azure Pen Crown Prince, Princess Crimson Lotus, and the Soaring Sun Crown Prince looked at each other, and then turned into streams of light and entered the black hole. Ripples flickered, and Yang Feng appeared in a vast world filled with powerful energy. Is this life magic energy? No, according to the eternal world, This is a higher grade of source energy. It's far more powerful than life magic energy. This eternal sight doesn't seem to be simple. Yang Feng took a deep breath and analyzed the energy contained in the air in a split second. Source energy is a unique energy of the eternal world. In the eternal world, except for some extremely barren places, as long as it is covered by source energy, any adult intelligent life form will possess level 1 warlock rank strength without the need to practice cultivation. If it is a human born in the eternal world, under the nourishment of source energy, their soul aptitude will be at least level 4. In the eternal world, powerhouses are as common as clouds. Eternal sovereigns can even practice cultivation to the eternal monarch rank because of the tremendous amount of source energy. Suddenly, the earth cracked, and a 10,000-meter-long giant earthworm engraved with strange patterns and exuding quasi-Empyrean rank fluctuations of power emerged, opened its chrysanthemum petal-like maw, and bit towards Yang Feng. A fearsome devour force came out of the giant earthworm's maw and swept towards Yang Feng. What a fool! Yang Feng casually pointed at the giant earthworm, and a gray magic radiance swept towards it. Enveloped by the gray light, the giant earthworm trembled slightly and turned into ashes inch by inch, and all its life force was devoured by Yang Feng. Ripples shone, and Zero walked out from behind Yang Feng. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "Zero, I'll leave this to you." At the time when Yang Feng fought the Gamana universe's 3 eternal sovereigns, Zero was also severely injured. After Yang Feng took control of the transcendent world, he used many rare resources to repair Zero, allowing her to recover more than 70% of her strength. "Yes, my lord." Zero saluted Yang Feng. The level 8 stronghold covered in scars appeared behind him, and he landed on the eternal relic site. Countless mechanical spheres flew out of the level 8 stronghold, landed on the ground, and formed mechanical towers. Strange ripples emerged from the level 8 stronghold and spread into the surroundings. If an eternal sovereign didn't come here, it would be difficult for them to discover what happened here. Next, it's time to go to the center of the relic site. I hope that this eternal relic site, which even an eternal sovereign set up, won't let me down. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose, ripples emerged on his body, and he disappeared. A few days later, within the eternal relic site, Yang Feng walked leisurely in a desert. In the desert, countless fist-sized dragon-winged fire ants with dragon wings rushed towards Yang Feng. These dragon-wing fire ants have a trace of true dragon bloodline, and each of them is comparable to an infinity warlock rank powerhouse. Under the command of the 5 great holy steppe dragon wing fire ants in the lead, tens of millions of dragon wing fire ants can even devour a quasi-Empyrean rank powerhouse. When the dragon wing fire ants flew to Yang Feng's side, they strangely turned into ashes. The dense swarm of dragon wing fire ants released strange fluctuations and formed a true dragon made of dragon wing fire ants, exuding Empyrean rank might. These dragon wing fire ants can form an Empyrean rank life form. That's the eternal world for you. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with admiration when he saw this scene. In the world of warlocks, there is no extraordinary life form that can exert Empyrean rank power when they join forces. Only in the eternal world can such a powerful and strange life form be born. However, it's still too weak. Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and a devour black hole emerged and devoured the true dragon formed by the dragon wing fire ants. After a dozen-plus breaths of time, dust flew out of the devour black hole and drifted away with the wind. Chapter 1420. After wiping out the dragon wing fire ant colony, Yang Feng strolled to the dragon wing fire ant nest, reached out with his hand, and a terrifying hand stabbed into the earth, tore the earth apart, and dug out a huge scarlet stone. With a flash of black light, the scarlet stone peeled off and revealed an ore that looks like a small sun. Dragon Fire Sunstone. This is a gem that has been nurtured for countless years after the sun fused with a true dragon. With this ore, Zero's injuries will be completely healed. Just this piece of dragon flaming sunstone alone made this trip worthwhile. As expected of the eternal world, there are so many treasures. Admiration flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. He pointed with a finger, and spatial ripples flickered and teleported the Dragonfire Sunstone into Zero's hand. In the world of warlocks, treasures such as Dragonfire Sunstone are completely extinct. Even if there are any, they are hidden in the depths of the universe. Only during a great tribulation like the universe war of Devour may they emerge and create another universe child. Only in the center of the universe, the eternal world, can there be so many treasures. Regardless of the strength of the eternal sovereigns who can take root in the universe, but their wealth is definitely above that of other eternal sovereigns. They have all arrived at the core area. Has it started? Yang Feng's eyes flickered, ripples appeared on his body, and he disappeared. In the core area of the eternal relic world, there is a towering mountain peak. The towering and majestic mountain was enveloped by layers of extremely dense fog, and it emanated a mysterious, unfathomable, and extremely dangerous aura. With a flash of green light, the Azure Peng Crown Prince appeared at the foot of the mountain peak and looked at the summit with a scorching shade in his eyes. This is the eternal relic site of the legendary eternal sovereign Gu Taili, which records Gu Taili's inheritance. At the time, Gu Taili was a bigwig of the seventh firmament eternal realm, and even the heavenly end realm's domain master was not his opponent. If I can obtain his inheritance, I may even surpass the heavenly end realm's domain master in the future and become the new domain master. The Azure Peng Crown Prince's eyes flickered, various thoughts revolved in his mind, and he walked towards the mountain peak. The Azure Peng Crown Prince has just set foot on the mountain peak when a fearsome haze swept towards him. The Azure Peng Crown Prince's face changed slightly, and an ancient shield appeared around him. The terrifying haze rolled towards the ancient shield, causing it to dim and lose its luster. The barrier collapsed and turned into powder. The Azure Peng Crown Prince waved his hand, and a mirror, a jade bowl, and a belt flew out, forming one defensive barrier after another. As soon as the gray haze rolled in, the barriers of the three treasures collapsed and turned into dust that drifted away with the wind. This is the power of the eternal ruins, so strong. With my strength, I can destroy this mountain. However, it won't be that easy to obtain the inheritance within it. Hidden in the void, Yang Feng quietly watched this scene, a pensive look on his face. As a seventh firmament eternal realm powerhouse, Gu Taili can kill Yang Feng head-on at this time. However, since he has already died, the relic site he left behind naturally cannot kill an eternal like Yang Feng. However, although it was easy for Yang Feng to destroy the mountain peak, but it was very difficult for him to obtain the inheritance inside. After all, Gu Taili is a seventh firmament eternal realm powerhouse, and the barrier he set up has integrated with his inheritance. Destroying the mountain peak will destroy the inheritance. A flame flew over from afar, landed here, and burned. Within the flames, a burning crimson lotus bloomed and a person walked out. It was Princess Crimson Lotus. Princess Red Lotus glanced at the Azure Peng Crown Prince, smiled coldly, took out a jade scepter in her hand, and walked towards the mountain peak. A large amount of haze gushed out of the mountain peak and surged towards Princess Red Lotus. Mysterious runes appeared on the jade scepter and green light emerged, dispersing the haze gushing out of the mountain peak. Princess Red Lotus strode into the mountain peak. The Azure Peng Crown Prince's eyes flickered a few times. He hesitated for a while, and then a look of pain flashed in his eyes. He took out an ancient bronze lamp and lit it. The ancient lamp burned, the lamp oil crackled, and the ancient lamp emitted a strange fragrance that surrounded the Azure Peng Crown Prince and formed a transparent barrier. A large amount of haze swept towards the Azure Peng Crown Prince, but was immediately blocked by the transparent barrier protecting him. The Azure Peng Crown Prince strode into the mountain peak. Just 10 breaths of time after the Azure Peng Crown Prince stepped into the mountain peak, the void split open, and a handsome man with long green hair and dressed in a green feather robe walked out of the void. Exuding eternal rank fluctuations of power, he walked towards the mountain peak. A haze tens of millions of times larger than the Azure Peng Crown Prince's gushed out of the mountain peak and swept towards the handsome man. Gu Taili, even though you are a seventh firmament eternal realm powerhouse. But since my people have already entered and analyzed your secret method, how can this barrier stop me? The handsome man smiled coldly, mysterious runes appeared in his eyes, and he pointed at the mountain peak. A jade-green ray of light entered the mountain. Wherever the green light passed, the terrifying haze would disperse one by one. Inside the mountain peak, a feather flew out of the azure Pern Crown Prince's bosom. Under the horrified gaze of the azure Pern Crown Prince, the feather burst out with eternal light and entered the mountain peak. The mountain peak trembled slightly, and the haze that enveloped it dissipated, revealing the mountain peak. The mountain was 5,000 kilometers tall, completely constructed from white profound jade, and its body was inscribed with countless profound talismans. At the top of the mountain peak, there is a sphere with countless mysterious runes on it, exuding vast and boundless eternal might. Mother of myriad lotus, come out. I know you're here. If you don't come out, I'll kill your caretaker. Princess Crimson Lotus has the potential to attack the Empyrean realm. She is one of the best among your caretakers. If she dies, won't you feel a little heartache? The incomparably handsome man glanced at the void and said with a faint smile. Princess Crimson Lotus's pretty face was pale, and her body trembled. Even though she is a quasi-emperor rank powerhouse, but in front of an eternal sovereign, she is just a slightly more powerful ant. Feng Juechen, if you dare to attack my caretaker, I'll kill all your caretakers. A lotus filled with a divine aura appeared in the void. Within the lotus sat a peerless beauty dressed in black. She had black hair that draped over her shoulders, a slim waist, and a perky bottom. She had an extremely sexy figure and exuded a pure and holy aura. Feng Juechen said with a smile, Mother of myriad lotus, Gu Taili's inheritance is an incomplete secret method left behind by the eternal King Beijiang monarch. I'm determined to get it. If you are willing to leave, I can open the treasury of the absolute wind domain and let you choose 10 treasures. What do you think? Mother of myriad lotus said indifferently, Gu Taili's inheritance can enable us to cultivate to the 7th layer of eternal realm in the eternal world. Apart from that, we can only find an opportunity to advance in the universe-devouring war. I'm also determined to get this inheritance. Feng Juechen, if you let me go this time, I'll owe you a favor. In the future, as long as my life isn't in danger, I'll help you once if it's within my power. Eternal sovereigns are powerhouses in the eternal world. In the eternal worlds, the secret cultivation magics of eternal sovereigns were things that the eternal sovereigns wouldn't pass on to others. They were extremely precious and difficult to find in the world. Most Eternals used the accumulation of resources and relied on time to improve bit by bit. Dripping water would wear away a stone, and they would progress bit by bit. If Eternal Sovereigns want to make rapid progress, the best way is to win the universe-devouring war, gain the favor of the universe will, and have a fortuitous encounter. Next is to use Eternal Sovereign's cultivation secret methods to improve your strength. The worst way is to rely on resources and time to make progress bit by bit. Gu Taili's inheritance secret method can be cultivated to the 7th layer of Eternal Realm, which is enough to drive Eternal Sovereigns crazy. In that case, we can only fight. The winner can get Gu Taili's inheritance. Feng Juechen's eyes shimmered coldly, and he took a step forward, and a fearsome storm enveloped him. Countless laws of wind intertwined and formed a huge rock exuding eternal breath, and the rock extended its claw towards the mother myriad lotuses. Let's see if your rock or my sky lotus is stronger. The mother myriad lotuses snorted coldly, countless runes shone on her body, and mysterious lotus flowers emerged. Countless lotus flowers fused into one, forming a heavenly lotus that was as large as the sky, constructed from countless lotus flowers. In the center of the sky lotus, there are bolts of lightning exuding fearsome breath. One lightning bolt after another shot towards the rock from the center of the sky lotus. Fearful of the lightning bolt, the rock controlled countless storms and formed wind blades that slashed at the lightning bolt. In the wake of the lightning bolt, the wind blades were blasted apart. Fearsome storms and destructive lightning intertwined in the mountain peak and blasted open huge holes in the void. If it weren't for the fact that the mountain peak contains eternal power, it would have been destroyed by the aftermath of the fight between the two eternal sovereigns. Whether it is Feng Juechen or the Mother Myriad Lotuses, neither can do anything to the other within a short period of time. The Azure Peng Crown Prince and Princess Crimson Lotus looked at each other, then their figures fluttered, and they flew towards the mountain peak. Chapter 1421. This is a secret method left by an eternal sovereign? Not bad, this secret method is mine. Ripples flickered, and Yang Feng appeared on the summit and looked at the inheritance bead with admiration in his eyes. Yang Feng. When the Azure Peng Crown Prince and Princess Crimson Lotus saw Yang Feng in front of the inheritance bead, they were shocked at once, and their eyes shimmered with astonishment. Princess Crimson Lotus's beautiful eyes flickered slightly, and she turned into a stream of fire and disappeared from the summit, fleeing towards the outside. The Azure Peng Crown Prince's eyes shimmered with enigmatic light, and he said in a neither servile nor overbearing tone, "Sir Yang Feng, this inheritance bead is a treasure that the two eternal sovereigns have taken a fancy to. Please leave this place. This is not a treasure you can lay your hands on." Stupid. You're much more stupid than Princess Crimson Lotus. Yang Feng smiled faintly and flicked a finger, and a black ray swept towards the Azure Peng Crown Prince, turned into a black hole, and swallowed the Azure Peng Crown Prince. Countless runes flickered, and a horrified expression on his face. The Azure Peng Crown Prince turned into dust and disappeared inside the black hole. So scary. When Princess Crimson Lotus saw this scene, a chill welled up inside her, and she rejoiced. As soon as she saw Yang Feng appear on the summit fearlessly, she knew that things are far from good, and so she chose to escape. "How dare you! How dare you kill my men? Go to hell!" Feng Juechen's eyes flashed with anger, and he roared and thrust his hand. The essence of storm interwove, and the rock exuding fearsome fluctuations of power descended from the sky and extended its claw towards Yang Feng. The beautiful eyes of the mother of 10,000 lotuses flashed with a cold light. She stood quietly in the void and controlled the huge lotus to remain still. The lightning gathered but didn't erupt. "Oh, you want to kill me? If that's the case, then go to hell and become a stepping stone for my evolution." Yang Feng's eyes flashed fiercely, and transcendent runes appeared on his body. He turned into a handsome transcendent engraved with countless transcendent runes, with a huge horn on his head, and exuding a fierce aura. The eyes of Yang Feng's incarnation of the transcendent shimmered fiercely, and he suddenly erupted and tore apart the storm with a punch, slammed into the storm rock, and blasted it into pieces. Enveloped by time force, Yang Feng's speed suddenly increased sharply. As if teleporting, he appeared in front of Feng Juechen and punched him. A tyrannical eternal energy instantly exploded, and with a single strike, Feng Juechen was blasted into pieces. A terrifying devouring black hole appeared and engulfed Feng Juechen, frantically devouring his eternal essence. "Yang Feng, you dare kill me? How dare you kill me? I'll remember you. You're dead. I will definitely tear you into pieces. Destroy everything you have." Inside the devouring black hole, Feng Juechen's eyes flashed with incredulity. He roared wildly, and his body disintegrated inch by inch. Surprise flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. This Feng Juechen is much weaker than the Gamana universe's three eternal sovereigns. Originally, Yang Feng thought that Feng Juechen, an eternal born in an eternal world, would be very tricky to deal with. But he didn't expect Feng Juechen to be so weak. Regret flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. Unfortunately, this is not the universe where Feng Juechen's eternal imprint is located. Otherwise, I would have been able to kill him for real. After Yang Feng devoured Feng Juechen, his gaze fell on the beautiful Mother Myriad Lotuses, and his eyes shimmered with frigid killing intent. The mother of 10,000 lotuses was also an eternal being. If she is devoured, Yang Feng's eternal essence will be strengthened a lot. If he can obtain a secret method to practice cultivation in the future, Yang Feng will be able to make rapid progress. For Yang Feng, who takes the essence of devour as his core path, eternal sovereigns are great tonics. If he can devour enough eternal sovereigns, Yang Feng's strength will continue to improve until he reaches the 9th level of the eternal realm. The Mother Myriad Lotuses uttered with a sweet smile, "Yang Feng, I am the Mother Myriad Lotuses, a member of the Eternal Organization 9-Color Alliance. If you kill me, the 9-Color Alliance won't let you off. I give up on Gu Tyli's inheritance. In this world, it is better to have one more friend than one more enemy. We can exchange knowledge with each other and make progress together. Yang Feng pondered for a while, then the killing intent in his eyes slowly dissipated, and he uttered with a smile, "Okay. In that case, Mother Myriad Lotuses, please leave this place. I want to accept this eternal inheritance. But you can contact me through this. Finally, I'll give you a reminder. Feng Juechen has a way to resurrect. If I'm not mistaken, he will be able to resurrect soon." The Mother Myriad Lotuses waved her lily-white hand, and a jade-like lotus flower flew into Yang Feng's hand. Light flickered, and the lotus flower disappeared. He will be able to resurrect soon? In that case, he must have a huge amount of resources. Only in this way can he resurrect quickly. Standing quietly in place, Yang Feng looked into the distance, and an eternal might spread in all directions. He's finally gone. After a quarter of an hour, Yang Feng smiled faintly, and his gaze fell on the bead containing the mysteries of eternity. Boom, boom. The sun above the eternal world's swamp of resentment trembled slightly, then quickly distorted and collapsed, turned into a black dot, and disappeared. What is the origin of that person? How can he be so powerful? Even Feng Juechen couldn't withstand a blow from him. Could he be a fourth firmament eternal powerhouse? The mother of 10,000 Lotus was in a space of nothingness. As she watched the sun disappear, her beautiful eyes flashed with a hint of fear. This time, the Mother Myriad Lotuses didn't attack Yang Feng, and thus barely escaped. He can sense that if he were to attack Yang Feng, he would definitely die. The Mother Myriad Lotus's beautiful eyes flickered, and she guessed Yang Feng's origin, this unscrupulous style of killing other eternal sovereigns. Is he an eternal who just entered the eternal world from another universe? Absolute Wind Realm, in a mysterious palace shrouded in eternal force. Inside the palace, in an eternal origin force pool, an eternal imprint emerged, and a tremendous amount of eternal origin force entered the eternal imprint and formed Feng Juechen's body. Damn it, Yang Feng, you dare to kill me. I won't let you get away with this. Feng Juechen walked out of the eternal origin force pool, looked at the dried-up eternal origin force pool with a flash of madness, and roared wildly. With Feng Juechen as the core, an incomparably terrifying eternal origin energy spread out in all directions. The eternal origin energy within the eternal origin energy pool was a resource that Feng Juechen had spent 100,000 years to gather. Now that the eternal origin force pool has dried up, it means that he will have to spend another 100,000 years to collect resources before he can get another chance to resurrect. If Feng Juechen doesn't pour eternal origin force pool into the eternal origin force pool, then once he dies, he will have to start all over again. By spending hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years, using the eternal imprint to absorb universe energy, he will be born from nothingness step by step, and then set foot on the peak again. Within the eternal relic site, Yang Feng extended his hand towards the bead containing the mysteries of eternity, and mysterious eternal imprints entered his eternal soul sea. Suddenly, in Yang Feng's sea of knowledge, a powerhouse with the head of a snake and the body of a human, 4 arms, and covered in a layer of golden scales emerged. Strange, distorted gray gas emerged from the snake-headed powerhouse and polluted Yang Feng's soul. I am Gu Tyli, and from now on, your body and soul are mine. I will use your body to resurrect again. Come, merge with me and become a part of the great Gu Tyli. The distorted gray gas spread into the surroundings and eroded Yang Feng's eternal soul sea. Gu Tyli, your eternal imprint has broken. You are already a dead man. If you're a dead man, then go to hell. I will make good use of your soul and memories. A cold voice sounded in Yang Feng's eternal soul sea, and a devour black hole emerged, devouring and suppressing everything. The gray gas was frantically devoured by the devour black hole and transformed into pure soul force, which entered the devour black hole and became nutrients for Yang Feng's evolution. A perfect second firmament eternal realm powerhouse. How can this be? How can your foundation be so solid? Damn it. Damn it. I don't want to. When the snake-headed Gutili's remnant soul saw the devour black hole, despair flashed in its eyes, and it was swallowed by the devour black hole. His soul, memories, and inheritances were all devoured by Yang Feng. Time elapsed, and 3 years passed in a flash. Inside the eternal relic site, Yang Feng slowly opened his eyes, and they shimmered with joy. Fortunately, I advanced to the second firmament eternal realm, and it was a perfect advancement. Otherwise, it would have been troublesome. Even if the eternal imprint wasn't polluted, this body would have been eroded and become a tool for Gutili's resurrection. Sure enough, it is extremely difficult for eternal sovereigns to die completely. Even if the eternal imprint is broken, seventh firmament eternal realm powerhouses still have various means of resurrection. The so-called perfect advancement is to advance to an eternal sovereign in a universe with the four essences of time, space, fate, and power as the foundation. Such an eternal is a perfect advancement to an eternal, with strength far exceeding that of powerhouses of the same rank. The Spirit Eyes Eternal, the Wing Eternal, and the Frost Eternal used eternal treasures or other universe treasures to break through and advance to the eternal realm. Their foundation is unstable, and it is 10,000 times more difficult for them to advance than for powerhouses like Yang Feng. Chapter 1422. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with enigmatic light. However, as expected of the eternal world. In addition to the perfect advancement and the eternal treasure as the foundation to advance to the eternal realm, there is also a method to advance to the eternal realm using faith. The eternal world is vast and boundless, and powerhouses are as common as clouds. There are a variety of methods to advance to the eternal realm, which is far beyond Yang Feng's understanding. In some realms, there are some gods who unify the faith of the entire realm's intelligent life forms and advance to a soul god. Then, through secret methods, they can advance to the eternal realm as a soul god. In Gutili's inheritance, there is a secret method to advance to the eternal realm as a soul god. Yang Feng ordered, this Tily heaven-severing method can be practiced to the 7th level of the eternal realm. However, this is a secret method that fits Gutili's path. It can be used as a reference for me. I should use this secret method to deduce my own secret repair method. 0. Start the deduction. In terms of computing power alone, 0, who has a level 8 optical computer, has 1,000 times the computing power of Yang Feng. Only after Yang Feng advances to the 4th level of the eternal realm and undergoes a tremendous transformation can his computing power surpass 0. Initiating the deduction. Initiating the establishment of the Devour Heaven Method Eternal Volume. Initiating the deduction. Time to complete the deduction of the 1st level of the Devour Heaven Method Eternal Volume, 376 days. Zero's eyes flickered, and he began to mobilize all his computing power to deduce the 1st level of the Devour Heaven Method Eternal Volume. The secret method cultivation knowledge Yang Feng obtained from the countless powerhouses of the world of warlocks and the Gamana universe, as well as the secret methods he obtained in the eternal world, was analyzed and began to deduce the eternal heaven method with his own path as the core. Time passed, and 10 years passed in a flash. The 3rd level of the Devour Heaven Method Eternal Volume, deduction complete. Zero's voice sounded, and a powerful and mysterious secret method poured into Yang Feng's mind. Countless mysterious runes appeared in Yang Feng's eyes. Like small black holes, runes appeared on his body, giving him a mysterious and dangerous feeling. Yang Feng's aura began to rise little by little, growing frantically for 10 days and 10 nights before stopping. The secret methods cultivated by eternal sovereigns are really extraordinary. According to this progress, as long as I find a place with rich life source energy in this grand cosmos and cultivate in seclusion for 10 million years, I can advance to the 3rd heavens of the eternal realm. Yang Feng has advanced to the eternal sovereign realm perfectly. Furthermore, he has devoured several powerful eternal sovereigns. Moreover, the world of warlocks in which his eternal imprint resides is still advancing, and has already surpassed the Gamana universe. Yang Feng's accumulation is enough, and he has deduced an eternal sovereign cultivation secret method, which is why he can advance to the third firmament eternal realm. Yang Feng frowned slightly, but after advancing to the third firmament eternal realm, it won't be that easy to advance to the fourth firmament eternal realm. Of the 9 heavens of the eternal realm, every 3 heavens was a huge checkpoint. It was extremely difficult to break through. It is only a matter of time before Yang Feng advances to the third firmament eternal realm. But at present, there is no hope for him to advance to the fourth firmament eternal realm, the 4th level of the eternal chapter of the devouring heaven art. Estimated time to succeed, none. Yang Feng looked at the progress of the deduction of the 4th level of the Devour Heaven Method Eternal section, and his eyes shimmered with helplessness. Gu Taili is really hateful. In order to achieve rebirth, I need to absorb his remnant soul to break through to the 4th level and the 7th level. The true mysteries of the breakthrough have already been concealed. The Taili Heaven/Secret method can indeed be practiced to the 7th firmament eternal realm. However, the prerequisite is to absorb Gu Taili's remnant soul traveling in the universe through various strange secret methods. Once someone practices the Taili Heaven/Secret method to the 4th level, Gu Taili will be able to pollute the cultivator's eternal imprint with his huge remnant soul, and then use the polluted eternal imprint as the core to reconstruct Gu Taili's eternal imprint and achieve rebirth. Yang Feng has gone through countless wars and all kinds of conspiracies step by step from an ordinary person. Seeing through Gu Taili's arrangements in the Taili Heaven/Secret method at a glance, it is naturally impossible for him to practice the Eternal Heaven method. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with determination. The Taili Heaven/Secret method is flawed. It seems that I can only find a way to find other Eternal Heaven methods and find a way to establish the 4th level of the Devouring Heaven method. If it doesn't work, I can also find a way to launch a universe-devouring war to devour weaker universes, and then use the precious resources that emerge from the universe-devouring war to break through the bottleneck and advance to the 4th level of the Eternal Realm. In the universe-devouring war, the universe wills of the 2 universes will produce countless precious resources for the sake of the survival of their respective universes. At the time, Yang Feng was able to advance to the Eternal Realm and refine Zero into a level 8 stronghold because of the universe will's favor and all kinds of fortuitous encounters. After the universe-devouring war ended, the universe energy level of the world of warlocks increased, and the treasures useful to eternal sovereigns became scarce. Yang Feng willed, Zero, start transforming this eternal relic site. The Eternal Relic Site is one of the treasure troves of the 7th Firmament Eternal Realm powerhouse Gu Taili. It is a holy land for cultivation in itself. As long as Zero completes the transformation of this Eternal Relic Site, Yang Feng will get a foothold in the Eternal World. As long as there are no powerhouses above the 4th Firmament Eternal Realm besieging him, Yang Feng is confident that he can suppress the enemies who come to attack him with this stronghold. My lord! From the level 8 stronghold that has been silent for many years, countless battle robots and engineering robots poured out, rushed towards the Eternal Relic Site like a tide, and began to transform the world. Countless rays of light flashed, and Yang Feng disappeared from this world. In the Absolute Heavens domain, on a mountain peak. Yang Feng spread the fingers of a hand, and a jade box engraved with countless seals opened, and a white lotus flower appeared and radiated resplendent light. After a dozen-plus breaths of time, there was a flash of light, and a beautiful woman in white appeared in the lotus flower. This peerlessly beautiful woman in white was the mother of all lotuses. Mother Myriad Lotus uttered with a sweet smile, Yang Feng, long time no see. What can I do for you? Yang Feng responded with a smile, I want to invite you to a drink, would you like to? Let me invite you to a drink. The Myriad Lotus Immortal Wine I brewed is a first-class wine even among eternal sovereigns. These are the coordinates, come here. Mother Myriad Lotus smiled sweetly, and a speck of white light flew out of the lotus flower, fell into Yang Feng's hand, and transmitted the coordinates into his mind. But Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he turned into specks of light and disappeared. The moon lotus star is a star floating above the myriad lotus immortal domain with an area of 13.65 million light-years. Following flashes of light, Yang Feng appeared above the moon lotus star, stepped into the star, and came to the moon lotus city in the center of the star. What a beautiful woman land! As soon as Yang Feng entered the moon lotus city, he saw that there are beautiful women everywhere. The beautiful women exude a mystical lotus fragrance. Each beautiful woman is a moonlight warlock powerhouse. Strange and distorted light emerged from Yang Feng. As if they didn't see him, the beautiful women in the moon lotus city didn't cause a sensation. It is simple for an eternal to distort the perception of other people. Unless it is a powerhouse above the holy step, an eternal can change the perception and memories of intelligent life forms on a celestial body with a thought. I am Mu Qinglian. Greetings. Mother invites you in. Dressed in an emerald green leather armor with large patches of snow-white skin exposed, a green lotus on her head, a fiery and sensual figure, and an indescribably beautiful young girl, who looked to be only 17 or 18 years old, walked over with a smile on her face and bowed to Yang Feng. But Yang Feng smiled faintly and followed Mu Qinglian towards the Moon Lotus City's city master's mansion. After passing through winding corridors, Yang Feng came to a pavilion in front of a lotus pond. In the pavilion sat a white-robed beauty. She was beautiful beyond compare, and her style was unmatched. It was none other than Mother Lotus. As soon as Yang Feng came to the pavilion, he sat opposite Mother Myriad Lotus without a trace of politeness. This is the Myriad Lotus immortal wine I brewed. Have a taste. As if she and Yang Feng are old friends for many years, Mother Myriad Lotus smiled and pointed with her lily-white finger. In a jade cup in front of Yang Feng, light shone, and a lotus seed inside the cup suddenly took root, sprouted, grew rapidly, and turned into a green lotus flower. The lotus flower bloomed, and a pool of tempting immortal wine exuding sacred light and a fragrant aroma appeared in the center of the lotus flower. Yang Feng plucked the lotus flower and inhaled, and an indescribable delicacy spread from the tip of his tongue to his limbs and bones. Traces of warmth pervaded Yang Feng's body, nourishing his fleshly body and soul, giving him a feeling of being on cloud nine. Good wine, really good wine. This is the best immortal wine I have ever drunk. After a long time, Yang Feng slowly opened his eyes and praised sincerely. The Myriad Lotus immortal wine is not only the most delicious immortal wine Yang Feng has ever drunk, but it also has a miraculous effect on improving soul aptitude. It doesn't lose out to eternal god fruits. If a warlock with superior level 8 soul aptitude can drink a mouthful of Myriad Lotus immortal wine, they can break through the godman boundary and obtain inferior level 9 soul aptitude. And the most precious thing is that this Myriad Lotus immortal wine can also improve the soul aptitude of eternal sovereigns. Of course, it can only improve it by a trace. There are very few treasures that can improve the soul aptitude of eternal sovereigns. For this Myriad Lotus immortal wine to have a trace of effect on Yang Feng's soul aptitude, it is definitely a heaven-defying treasure. Chapter 1423. Yang Feng's eyes flickered with an enigmatic gleam, and he uttered with a smile, "This Myriad Lotus immortal wine is really delicious. Mother Myriad Lotuses, can you sell me 2 tons? The Myriad Lotus mother choked and looked at Yang Feng speechlessly, feeling that Yang Feng's skin was incredibly thick. The Myriad Lotus immortal wine is not only delicious, but it can also improve the soul aptitude of eternal sovereigns. For Yang Feng to ask for 2 tons of such a heaven-defying treasure, if it wasn't for her self-restraint, she would have already started cursing. Yang Feng uttered leisurely, "I can give you the first 3 levels of the greatly heaven / left by Gutaili. Eternal heavenly art." Mother Myriad Lotus's beautiful eyes burst out with dazzling light, her delicate body trembled slightly, and she exclaimed, "The eternal heavenly art that eternal sovereigns can cultivate is a rare treasure in the eyes of a first firmament eternal realm powerhouse like Mother Myriad Lotuses. If she can get the first 3 levels of Gutaili's greatly heaven / then she won't need to participate in a dangerous battle like the universe war of Devour. She only needs to get enough rare resources in the eternal world to advance all the way to the third firmament eternal realm. 4 first firmament eternal sovereigns in the eternal world. A peerless heavenly art that can be cultivated to the third firmament eternal realm is priceless, far more valuable than 2 tons of myriad lotus immortal wine. There was a flash of regret in Mother Myriad Lotus's beautiful eyes, and she said with a bitter smile, "Although I would like to agree, but I can't. It takes 10,000 years to brew 1 stalk of Myriad Lotus immortal wine. 2 tons of Myriad Lotus immortal wine. All the Myriad Lotus immortal wine I brew add up to less than 2 tons. Yang Feng asked, "How much Myriad Lotus immortal wine do you have?" Mother Myriad Lotuses replied, "I can only take out 1,000 stalks for exchange." Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "I can give you the first 2 levels of the Greatly Heaven / in exchange for your Myriad Lotus immortal wine. However, you have to swear that you will never spread the Tai Li Heaven Severing skill. Also, I want to remind you that there is a contingency plan set up by Gu Tai Li in the Greatly Heaven / If you practice it step by step, you may become a tool for Gu Tai Li's rebirth." But Mother Myriad Lotus smiled sweetly and waved her lily-white hand, and a jade box appeared in her hand. She handed the jade box to Yang Feng. Every Eternal was an incredibly intelligent individual. If Yang Feng hadn't exposed the secret of the Greatly Heaven Severing method, then the Mother of Myriad Lotuses might have been fooled. However, after Yang Feng pointed out the secret, it was basically impossible for Gu Tai Li's contingency plan to deceive the Mother of Myriad Lotuses. Yang Feng took the jade box, scanned it with his soul force, and revealed a look of satisfaction. He pointed with a finger, and a crystal containing the knowledge of the first 2 secret methods of the Greatly Heaven-splitting method flew into the hand of the Mother Myriad Lotuses. Mother Myriad Lotus crushed a crystal and absorbed the knowledge within the Supreme Li Heaven-severing method. Not long after, she revealed a trace of satisfaction. At the time, Yang Feng received the level 7 cultivation method of the Tai Li Heaven / method and devoured Gu Tai Li's remnant soul, which took him a few years. The Mother of 10,000 Lotuses only needed to receive knowledge, so it was naturally very simple. "Vow Monarch, please bear witness." The Mother of Myriad Lotuses waved her lily-white hand, and a piece of gold parchment flew out and radiated gold light that interwove in the void. 9 black characters appeared, and within those 9 characters, a vast and terrifying aura was emitted. It was as if there were 9 people reciting oaths one after another. "I, the Mother of Myriad Lotuses, swear that I will never teach the Greatly Heaven-severing method to anyone without Yang Feng's permission. Otherwise, let my eternal mark collapse." As soon as the Mother of 10,000 Lotuses' words fell, the golden scale directly entered between her eyebrows. In the eternal world, the Pact Monarch and the Vow Monarch wield the authority of contracts and oaths. They are the strongest eternal monarchs. They are infinitely close to the legendary eternal God Emperor. There are treasures that can crack the authority of the Pact Monarch and the Vow Monarch, but they are very rare. Generally, only powerhouses above the 7th firmament eternal realm can possess such treasures. The Mother of Myriad Lotuses smiled slightly, and her beautiful eyes radiated an enigmatic gleam. Yang Feng nodded. No matter what kind of secret method, it is possible to crack it. The Pact Monarch and the Vow Monarch may be the top eternal monarchs in the eternal world, but their authority can also be cracked. After the transaction was completed, the 2 felt a little closer. The Mother of Myriad Lotuses asked tentatively, "Yang Feng, are you a guest from another universe?" Yang Feng replied, "That's right." The Mother of Myriad Lotuses winked at Yang Feng and said with a charming smile, "In that case, do you want to join the Rainbow Alliance? There are a total of 5 eternal sovereigns in the Rainbow Alliance, 3 of which are beautiful women." Yang Feng asked curiously, "In the Rainbow Alliance, what is the strongest eternal sovereign?" The Mother of Myriad Lotuses hesitated for a while, then the light in her beautiful eyes changed several times, and she uttered unhurriedly, "First Firmament Eternal Realm." Yang Feng's eyes showed a look of understanding. Sure enough, even in the eternal world, it is very difficult for eternal sovereigns to advance. In the eternal world, powerhouses are as common as clouds. Eternal sovereigns are not rare, but it is also very difficult for them to advance. Most eternal sovereigns have only the first firmament eternal realm cultivation base. The mother of myriad lotuses said with a sweet smile, although the strongest powerhouse in the Rainbow Alliance is only the first firmament eternal realm, but with the 5 of us joining forces, we can even contend against a third firmament eternal realm powerhouse. Each eternal sovereign is an invincible and tyrannical existence. Third firmament eternal sovereigns are naturally far stronger than first firmament eternal realm powerhouses. However, as long as there are enough first firmament eternal realm powerhouses, they can also contend against third firmament eternal realm powerhouses. Yang Feng pondered for a while and then said, "Let me think about it." The mother of myriad lotuses said with a smile, "The Black Spirit Ring's Feng Juechen has been reborn and has now regained his full strength. The Black Spirit Ring has 7 eternal sovereigns. Feng Juechen has invited friends to besiege and kill you. The Black Spirit Ring's wanted posters have already spread throughout the Flame Ju heaven. In the eternal world, states form a realm controlled by eternal sovereigns. Hundreds and thousands of eternal sovereigns form a heaven. Yang Feng's position belongs to the Flame Ju heaven." Yang Feng frowned slightly. How did he recover so quickly? The mother of myriad lotuses said with a smile, "Naturally, it's because he built an eternal source energy pool in his realm. I also have the knowledge of the eternal source energy pool. What do you have to exchange for it?" Yang Feng asked curiously, "In the eternal world, what is the currency used by eternal sovereigns?" In the world of eternal sovereigns, the currency used is eternal source stone. It is a crystal stone containing a trace of eternal origin. You can also make this kind of eternal source stone. The mother of myriad lotuses flipped her lily-white hand, and an eternal source stone containing a trace of eternal origin aura appeared in her hand. She flicked her finger, and the eternal source stone flew into Yang Feng's hand. Yang Feng took the eternal source stone and looked at it, and then frowned slightly. This eternal source stone is the manifestation of an eternal sovereign's eternal origin. If Yang Feng refined such an eternal source stone, he would need to practice cultivation for 100 years to recover. If he absorbed the power of this eternal source stone, he could improve his strength by a bit. As long as there are 1,000 such eternal source stones, a pinnacle quasi-Empyrean powerhouse can break through the bottleneck and advance to the Empyrean realm. If Yang Feng has 10 million eternal source stones, then with the current universe energy level of the world of warlocks, he can cultivate another eternal sovereign. But Yang Feng will never use his eternal origin to refine such an eternal source stone. It would take him 100 years of bitter cultivation to refine an eternal source stone. He won't do such a stupid thing. The mother of myriad lotuses said with a smile, "In addition to eternal source stones, a higher level currency is the eternal source energy pool. In some top auctions that only eternal sovereigns can participate in, the equivalent items are eternal source stones and eternal source energy pools. Apart from the latter, the exchange between eternal sovereigns is basically barter." Yang Feng nodded and continued to communicate with the mother of myriad lotuses. 10 days later, Yang Feng left the mother of myriad lotuses, feeling very satisfied. As an eternal sovereign, the mother of myriad lotuses is experienced and knowledgeable. Her understanding of the eternal world is far from what the Azure Crown Prince and Princess Crimson Lotus can compare to. After coming into contact with the mother of myriad lotuses, Yang Feng took a big step into the circle of eternal sovereigns in the eternal world. The world of warlocks, the extreme west of the Zhangji Plain, in the world of ice and snow all year round, there is an ice palace. Yang Feng stepped into the ice palace. "Greetings, mighty edge of eternity." Inside the ice palace, Ice Fenghuang, who has already advanced to the Empyrean realm, bowed respectfully to Yang Feng, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with a scorching shade. It is the man in front of her who quelled the Gamana universe's 3 eternal sovereigns. In the world of warlocks, he is a living legend and is recognized as an invincible powerhouse in this universe. It was with Yang Feng's help that Ice Feng Huang took the last step and advanced to the Empyrean realm. Yang Feng nodded and stepped into the deepest part of the Ice Palace. In the deepest part of the Ice Palace, there is an exquisite ice coffin. Inside the ice coffin lies a peerless beauty. She is Shi Shui. After the decisive battle with the Gamana universe, Yang Feng, Shi Shui, and Ling were all seriously injured. As Shi Shui's foundation is inferior to Yang Feng's, she was the most seriously injured. She can only sleep in the ice coffin and quietly repair herself. If nothing unexpected happens, Shi Shui will be able to heal her injuries after sleeping for tens of millions of years. For eternal sovereigns, origin injuries are the most troublesome. At the time, Yang Feng didn't have any good way to deal with them. You can finally wake up, Shui. Yang Feng looked at the beautiful Shi Shui in the ice coffin, showed a gentle smile, pointed with a finger, and a ray of light entered the ice coffin. Chapter 1424. The lid of the ice coffin flew away, and a lotus flower opened, and the myriad lotus immortal wine in the center of the lotus flower entered Shi Shui's cherry lips. After drinking the myriad lotus immortal wine, Shi Shui's fair face gained a trace of color. Sure enough, it's effective. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with joy, and he pointed with a finger. One lotus flower after another appeared above Shi Shui, and the myriad lotus immortal wine in the center of the lotus flower entered Shi Shui's cherry lips. Wisps of eternal fluctuations slowly diffused from Shi Shui's body, which originally had no aura, as if she was a dead person. When there were only 49 stalks of myriad lotus immortal wine left, Shi Shui finally opened her eyes, and the terrifying aura of an eternal slowly diffused from her body. Big brother, my injuries are healed. Shi Shui gave a sweet smile, looking extremely beautiful. With a light leap, she jumped out of the ice coffin and into Yang Feng's bosom. Yang Feng embraced Shi Shui, and a fragrance wafted from her. It's soft, cold, and comfortable. Shi Shui asked curiously, Big brother Feng, my injuries healed so quickly. Did you go to the legendary universe? Yang Feng smiled and began to tell Shi Shui about his experiences while she was asleep. This is my Devour Heaven method and Gu Taili's Greatly Heaven-Severing method. You can use these two eternal heavenly methods as a reference to create a secret method of your own. Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and a knowledge crystal suddenly formed, and the two eternal heavenly methods, which can drive many first heaven eternal realm powerhouses crazy, flew into Shi Shui's hand. I'm going to analyze the two eternal heavenly methods first. Call me if you need anything. When Shi Shui crushed the knowledge crystal, she was deeply attracted by the two eternal heavenly methods. She kissed Yang Feng on the face, and then turned into specks of ice and disappeared. Yang Feng smiled bitterly when he saw this. For Shi Shui to be able to advance to the Empyrean realm at the time, she is a cultivation madman. In fact, the 8 warlock emperors of the universe where the world of warlocks is located are all cultivation madmen. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to stand out in a universe and advance to the Empyrean realm. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose slightly. The transcendent world is guarded by Violet, and the warlock world is guarded by Shui. I no longer have any worries and can develop towards the eternal world. The two great cosmoses already had guardians. As long as it wasn't an eternal king-rank powerhouse, any eternal who entered the two cosmoses would be killed by ZG and the others. As long as the universe of the world of warlocks is not controlled by other eternal sovereigns, even if Yang Feng dies in the universe, he can be reborn in the world of warlocks. Of course, once Yang Feng dies in the universe, the Twilight God armor, the treasures he carries with him, and the eternal sovereign fleshly body will fall into the hands of other powerhouses. Therefore, in the world of warlocks, he opened up several treasure troves and set up countless contingencies so that he can quickly return to his peak after his rebirth. Yenju Tian Floating Domain. Below Yenju Tian's floating domain was a dark and silent world filled with a rotting aura. All kinds of ferocious beasts could be seen everywhere. Waves of black aura filled with deathly stillness and decay floated up, forming white clouds in the air that exuded a holy aura. On the white clouds, there were many countries. The entire floating domain was formed by the countries floating above the white clouds. In the center of the floating domain, on the largest white cloud, there was a huge city called Huaihua City. Huaihua City is the center of the floating domain. It is a place where many eternal sovereigns in Yenju Tian like to conduct transactions. The floating domain's domain master is a second firmament eternal realm powerhouse. He also made friends with 3 first firmament eternal realm brothers. The 4 eternal sovereigns joined forces to maintain the order of transactions in Huaihua City. Even if it was an eternal sovereign, if they provoked a fight in Huaihua City for no reason, they would be quelled by the floating domain's domain master and his 3 brothers. In the past hundreds of thousands of years, several eternal sovereigns have stirred up trouble in Huaihua City. In the end, they were quelled by the floating domain's domain master. After paying a huge price, they were able to leave. So this is Huaihua City. As expected of a city where eternal sovereigns reside, powerhouses are as common as clouds. Walking in Huaihua City, Yang Feng saw that there were powerhouses of various races everywhere. Holy sovereigns who are rarely seen in other places can be seen everywhere in Huaihua City. Yang Feng even saw a dozen Empyreans at random. In Huaihua City, shops can be seen everywhere, which display treasures of heaven and earth from various universes and realms. The common currency in Huaihua City is credits. People who come to Huaihua City can directly convert goods into credits through banks, and then use the credits to make purchases. A standard unit of inferior magic stones can be exchanged for a standard unit of credits in banks. As for precious metals such as gold and silver, they can't be exchanged for credits. In the world of warlocks, Yang Feng has already discovered several gold stars full of gold mines. In the eternal world, gold is just a currency used in the mortal world. It cannot be exchanged for credits. As expected of the eternal world, there are treasures of all civilizations. Along the way, Yang Feng's horizons were broadened. He saw the extraordinary treasures of the mechanical civilization, the biological civilization, the wizard civilization, the cultivation civilization, the martial arts civilization, and other civilizations. However, with just a glance, Yang Feng was able to analyze more than 90% of the treasures in the shops, leaving him with no desire to buy them. Sure enough, eternal sovereigns have to go to places exclusive to eternal sovereigns to gain something. After strolling around Huaihua City for several days and seeing countless treasures, Yang Feng came to a conclusion and walked towards the center of Huaihua City. In the center of Huaihua City, there is a beautiful and luxurious auction house that looks like a heavenly palace. In front of the door of the auction house, there are 2 guards, each of whom exudes quasi-Empyrean rank fluctuations of power. Halt, this is the Huaihua auction house. Only those who have an invitation letter or great eternal sovereigns can enter. When a guard saw Yang Feng approach, he raised his eyebrows slightly and stepped forward to stop him. Yang Feng glanced at the guard, and a faint eternal might spread from him. Greetings, great eternal sovereign. This lowly one doesn't know your identity. If I have offended you in any way, please forgive me. The complexion of the 2 guards changed dramatically, and they knelt down and spoke respectfully. Every eternal sovereign is a bigwig among bigwigs. Even if they killed the 2 quasi-Empyrean rank guards, they would at most compensate them. Quasi-Empyrean rank powerhouses are not rare in the eternal world. For eternal sovereigns, only Empyrean rank powerhouses have some value. I am Kung Fu Yun. How do I address you, sir? A cool breeze blew past, and a handsome young man with long purple hair, dressed in a silver shirt, and a smile on his face appeared and spoke to Yang Feng. Yang Feng replied flatly, I am Yang Feng. Enigmatic light flashed in Kung Fu Yun's eyes, and he smiled and invited, So you are Yang Feng who killed Feng Juechen, please come in. After Feng Juechen was killed by Yang Feng, he invited friends everywhere to besiege and kill Yang Feng. As one of the 4 city masters of Huaihua City, Kung Fu Yun has many friends and is well informed. When they arrived at a gorgeous palace, 2 beautiful maids stepped forward and served 2 cups of fragrant magic tea to Yang Feng and Kong Floating Cloud. May I know what brings you to Huaihua Auction House? Kung Fu Yun took a sip of the tea, exhaled a long breath, and said with a smile. I have an item that I would like to entrust to your auction house. Yang Feng took a sip of the tea, and bursts of fragrance spread in his mouth. Streams of heat flowed inside him and tempered his body, making him feel extremely comfortable. Kung Fu Yun asked flatly, "What treasure?" Yang Feng replied, "The greatly heaven-severing method created by Gu Taili." Kung Fu Yun's face changed dramatically, and he cried out, "Greatly heaven-severing method. The seventh firmament eternal heaven method." The eternal heaven technique was extremely difficult to cultivate. The Huaiyue auction house had been established for millions of years. During this long period, only two extremely dilapidated eternal heaven techniques, which could only be cultivated to the second heaven of the eternal realm, had been auctioned. Gu Taili's eternal heaven method that can be cultivated to the seventh firmament eternal realm is simply heaven-defying. Yang Feng said flatly, "The greatly heaven-severing method I auctioned can only be cultivated to the second firmament. Moreover, the buyer must swear not to teach the greatly heaven-severing method to others, or else the eternal imprint will collapse." Enigmatic light shimmered in Kung Fu Yun's eyes, and he said unhurriedly, "Yang Feng, Huaiyue auction house is willing to pay 3 million eternal source stones for the first 2 layers of the greatly heaven-severing method. What do you think?" Yang Feng responded with a smile, "If you want to buy the first 2 layers of the greatly heaven-severing method, that's fine. 15 million eternal source stones." There was a flash of helplessness in Kung Fu Yun's eyes. He hesitated for a moment, and then said with a bitter smile, "Okay, let's go to the auction house. 15 million eternal source stones. Only the 4 city masters of Huaiyue auction house can come up with that much resources. Kung Fu Yun alone cannot come up with 15 million eternal source stones." Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "In addition to eternal source stones, you can also use other eternal heaven methods of the same rank to exchange. If you can take out other 7th firmament eternal heaven methods, then I can take out Gu Taili's 7th firmament eternal heaven method and exchange it with you." If Yang Feng wants to perfect his devour heaven method, he needs to learn from the eternal heaven methods created by other powerhouses. For Yang Feng, Gu Taili's 7th firmament eternal heaven method can only be used as a reference. Now that the eternal heaven method isn't of much use to him, he can make good use of it. Chapter 1425. Kung Fu Yun's eyes flashed and he said, "My Huaiyue auction house has 2 incomplete eternal heaven techniques that can be cultivated to the second heavens of the eternal realm. Can I trade with you?" In the long history of the Huaiyue auction house, they had obtained 2 incomplete eternal heaven techniques. Those 2 incomplete eternal heaven techniques could also be cultivated to the second heaven of the eternal realm. However, they were different from the complete eternal heaven technique. Those 2 eternal heaven techniques were extremely difficult to cultivate. The city lord of Huaiyue City had used an extremely precious treasure to barely break through to the second heaven of the eternal realm. Those 2 incomplete eternal heavenly arts couldn't even be mentioned in the same breath as the complete one. Yang Feng uttered flatly, "The 2 incomplete eternal heavenly methods, plus 5 million eternal origin stones, in exchange for an opportunity to cultivate the second firmament of the greatly heaven-severing method." Floating Cloud frowned slightly and bargained with Yang Feng, "Your price is too high." After some haggling, Floating Cloud used 2 incomplete eternal heaven skills and 3 million eternal source stones as the price to exchange for the secret cultivation method of the second heaven of the supremely heaven-severing skill. So that's how it is. This is the eternal heaven art. It truly lives up to its name. My previous path was wrong. As soon as Floating Cloud absorbed the knowledge of the supremely heaven-severing technique, his eyes flashed with excitement and he let out a long sigh. For eternal beings, if they didn't have the eternal heaven technique, the difficulty of advancing from the first heaven of the eternal realm to the second heaven of the eternal realm was comparable to advancing from a mortal to an eternal being. Many Eternals advanced to the eternal realm at the age of hundreds of thousands of years. But after they advanced to the eternal realm, they spent millions or even tens of millions of years stuck at the first heaven of the eternal realm. That was because Eternals were already existences that stood at the pinnacle of the universe. It was extremely difficult to advance any further. All Eternals knew that the universe-devouring war could allow an Eternal being to advance. However, the battle of universe-devouring was extremely dangerous, and even Eternal sovereigns might perish. Thus, unless it was absolutely necessary, no Eternal sovereigns would take the initiative to participate in the battle of universe-devouring. It was precisely because of this that the Eternal Heaven Art was so precious. As long as an Eternal acquired an Eternal Heaven Art, then all they had to do was gather enough resources and spend a lot of time to advance to the next level. To an Eternal, time was the most worthless thing of all. Any random Eternal had a lifespan of over 10 billion years. As long as the universe was destroyed, they would never die. There was a flash of gratitude in Kung Fu Cloud's eyes, and he uttered with a smile, "Young Feng, you helped me a lot. This time, your Tai Li heaven-severing technique will definitely fetch a good price." Floating Cloud had obtained the cultivation method of the second heaven of the Supreme Separation Heaven skill. With the resources at his disposal, he could advance to the second heaven of the Eternal Realm in 50,000 years at most. Flames of ambition burned in Kung Fu Floating Cloud's eyes. If he could advance to the second heaven of the Eternal Realm in the future, he would definitely become the Lord of Huaiyue City and control it. Yang Feng and Kong Floating Cloud talked for a while, and obtained a lot of precious information from him, before leaving, satisfied. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. During these 3 months, the news that Huaiyue City was about to auction a second heaven of the Eternal Heaven technique had spread throughout Yanju Tian. Huaiyue City is actually auctioning an Eternal Heaven Art? Who could it be? They're actually auctioning the Eternal Heaven Art? How is this possible? A complete Eternal Heaven Art was enough to drive anyone crazy. Who would be so generous as to actually auction off an Eternal Heaven Art? Tai Li Heaven Severing Technique? Could this Eternal Heaven Art be the Eternal Heaven Art created by the legendary Eternal Gu Tai Li? Not long ago, Feng Juechen had a great opportunity snatched away. According to legend, it was the Eternal Heaven Art that was snatched away. It seems to be true. The Eternals in Yanju Tian were alarmed, and they inquired about the Eternal Heaven Art through various channels. On the day of the auction, one Eternal being after another came from all directions and gathered in Huaiyue City. Huaiyue Auction House. "Sir, I am Ao Jia, please come with me." As soon as Yang Feng stepped into the Huaiyue Auction House, a holy rank dragoness dressed in green, with a sexy figure and a pair of dragon horns on her head walked towards him gracefully with a touch of familiarity. Yang Feng nodded slightly and followed Ao Jia towards the VIP seats. "Yang Feng, it's really you." A voice full of resentment came from the side. Yang Feng turned his head and saw Feng Juechen staring at him with a gloomy expression on his face. Next to Feng Juechen, there are 3 people, each of whom exudes eternal rank fluctuations of power, looking coldly at Yang Feng with malice in their eyes. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered with contempt, and he said coldly, "Feng Juechen, since you resurrected, behave yourself. Be careful not to die again." "Yang Feng, it's you who's going to die." Feng Juechen smiled sinisterly, then suddenly pointed at Yang Feng and said loudly, "Everyone, this is Yang Feng, who killed me and stole my treasure. He was the one who snatched away Gu Tai Li's 7 levels Eternal Heaven Art. 7 levels Eternal Heaven Art. He's Yang Feng. The complete 7 levels Eternal Heaven Art. He's Yang Feng." In the auction house, the Eternals were alarmed, and their eyes filled with greed focused on Yang Feng. The complete 2 levels of the Eternal Heaven Art have already attracted more than 70% of the Eternal Sovereigns in Yanju Heaven. The complete 7 levels Eternal Heaven Art is enough to drive Eternal Sovereigns crazy. As for killing people and seizing their treasures, this is quite common among Eternal Sovereigns. Except for some second-generation Eternal Sovereigns who have deep backgrounds and no lack of cultivation resources and cultivation methods, more than 80% of the other Eternal Sovereigns have killed people and seized their treasures. That's right, I took Gu Tai Li's Eternal Heaven Art from Feng Juechen. However, I was a little slow when I took action. Gu Tai Li's Eternal Heaven Art has a total of 7 levels, and I only seized 5 levels. The 6th and 7th levels were obtained by Feng Juechen. If you want the 6th and 7th levels of the Eternal Heaven art, you can ask Feng Juechen for them. Under the gaze of more than 100 eternal sovereigns, Yang Feng smiled and spoke frankly with assurance. As soon as Yang Feng's words came out, gazes full of malice focused on Feng Juechen. 4 eternal sovereigns, the 6th and 7th levels of the Eternal Heaven art are extremely precious references. Even if eternal sovereigns have no use for them, they can exchange them with other eternal sovereigns. Even the complexions of the eternal sovereigns beside Feng Juechen flickered, and their eyes shimmered with enigmatic light. Feng Juechen's face fell and he shouted, "You're slandering me. I didn't get Gutaili's Eternal Heaven art." Yang Feng glanced at Feng Juechen contemptuously, then turned and strode into the auction house. "Feng Juechen, I have already admitted that I obtained the 5th level of the Eternal Heaven art, so why would I frame you? You dare to do it, but you don't dare to admit it. You're really a good-for-nothing." "I really didn't get Gutaili's Eternal Heaven art." Sensing the doubtful gazes of his friends, Feng Juechen hurriedly defended himself. A man with a horn on his head and countless mysterious runes engraved on his face said with a smile, "Juechen, don't worry, why would we doubt you? Juechen, we've been friends for millions of years. If you really obtain the Taili Heaven Slash, we can study it together, how about it?" Feng Juechen has just heaved a sigh of relief when a voice transmission entered his ears, causing his face to darken. "Yang Feng, I'm very interested in the Taili Heaven Slash. Name a price." An eternal with the head of a goat and the body of a human, a pair of wings spread open on the back for black bone spurs, and a thick tail exuding a fierce aura blocked in front of Yang Feng. Strange runes appeared in his eyes and radiated strange light. That's the leader of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance, the returning spirit goat. A second heaven eternal realm powerhouse. The Sheep of Destruction has always been fierce and overbearing. There's going to be a good show this time. Seeing this scene, many eternal sovereigns showed looks of schadenfreude. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "An eternal heaven art that can be cultivated to the 5th level of the Eternal Heaven art. In exchange for an opportunity to cultivate the 5th level of the Taili Heaven Slash." The eyes of the returning spirit goat shimmered with ridicule, and he sneered, "I don't have it. However, I have a treasure that is absolutely more valuable than the 5th level of the Eternal Heaven art. You'll definitely like it." Yang Feng asked curiously, "What treasure?" "It's your fate. As long as you offer me the Taili Heaven Slash, I'll spare your life. Otherwise, once you leave Huaiyue City, you'll die." The eyes of the returning spirit goat shimmered fiercely, and second heaven eternal realm aura diffused from him. The eyes of the 4 eternal sovereigns following behind the returning spirit goat shimmered with killing intent, and they exuded eternal sovereign rank aura. "Scram, a bunch of paupers." Yang Feng showed a provocative and contemptuous smile, turned around, and walked towards the VIP seats. The eyes of the returning spirit goat shimmered with anger, and his body trembled slightly. Resisting the desire to attack, he enunciated each syllable. "Yang Feng, you dare to speak rudely to me, you're dead." Huaiyue City is the territory of the Floating Space Domain's Domain Master. In the Floating Space Domain, the Domain Master can mobilize the power of a realm and possess unfathomable power. Coupled with the help of several eternal sovereigns, the returning spirit goat doesn't dare to behave atrociously here. He can only watch helplessly as Yang Feng enters the VIP seats. Yang Feng dares to provoke the destruction goat. It seems that the news that he killed Feng Juechen is true. Yang Feng seems to be a tyrannical eternal sovereign. I'm afraid that his strength has already surpassed the first heaven eternal realm. When the eternal sovereigns in the auction house saw Yang Feng provoke the returning spirit goat without fear, their eyes flickered with enigmatic light, and they weighed the pros and cons. Chapter 1426. You can leave now. After entering the VIP seat, Yang Feng glanced at Ao Jia and said flatly, "Yes, sir." Ao Jia's beautiful eyes shimmered with joy and a little disappointment, and she left the room. "Yang Feng, you're really daring to auction the greatly heaven-severing art. Do you know how many people outside want to kill you?" With a bell-like smile, a lotus bloomed in the VIP seat, and the mother of myriad lotuses walked out of the white lotus and sat aside with a smile on her face. Yang Feng responded calmly, "Of course I know, but I lack eternal origin stones. I can only auction the greatly heaven-severing art." The world of warlocks and the world of transcendent are under Yang Feng's control, and the rare resources of the two universes are under his control. It's not that he can't take out treasures that can tempt other eternal sovereigns, but it's more cost-effective to auction the greatly heaven-severing art. The mother of myriad lotuses took a deep look at Yang Feng, and then no longer questioned him. Instead, she talked to Yang Feng about the local customs and practices of Flame Absolute Heaven's realms. "Ladies and gentlemen, I now announce that the auction officially begins." Floating Cloud walked to the center of the auction house and smiled faintly. He didn't waste any time and flicked his finger. With a flash of light, a transparent crystal box appeared in front of him. Within the crystal box, there was a little girl with long crimson hair, skin that was snow white like jade, and a pair of beautiful eyes that were like rubies. She seemed to be around 12 or 13 years old, and she wore a revealing crimson leather dress that exposed a large portion of her snow-white skin to the air. She was a peerlessly beautiful little girl. Floating Cloud said with a faint smile, "This is a pure-blooded Feng Huang. She has peerless talent. She is less than 1,000 years old, but she already possesses Empyrean rank cultivation base. The starting price is 10,000 eternal origin stones, and each increment must be no less than 1,000 eternal origin stones. 11,000. 13,000. The entire auction house boiled up, and the sound of bidding rose incessantly. Although Empyrean rank Feng Huang can be found in the eternal world, and there are even pure-blooded Feng Huang races in the eternal world, but in Flame Absolute Heaven, the number of Feng Huang is very small. There are less than 50 pure-blooded Empyrean rank Feng Huang. That pure-blooded phoenix that was less than 1,000 years old but had already reached the Emperor realm was priceless. Naturally, the eternal sovereigns would fight over it. After the price of the eternal source stones reached 100,000, the increment slowed down. 100,000 eternal source stones was already a huge fortune. If it was used to nurture those quasi-emperors who were on the verge of breaking through and had heaven-defying aptitude, it would be enough to nurture dozens of emperors. Of course, for Eternals, their own strength was the most important, and few would use precious eternal source stones to nurture other emperors. A voice came from the 7th VIP seat. "Kong Fu Yun, will this phoenix be in trouble?" As soon as these words were spoken, the entire hall fell silent. The Phoenix clan was a big clan in the eternal world. In the Yenju heavens, the power of the Phoenix clan wasn't that great. But in the other heavens, the Phoenix clan even had great figures in the 9th heaven. The eternal sovereigns weren't willing to provoke the phoenixes with powerful backgrounds. Floating Cloud faintly smiled and said, "This phoenix's origin is clear. It isn't a phoenix from Phoenix Heaven. She is a heaven and earth variant that was born when the West Capital Region's realm was born. She has nothing to do with Phoenix Heaven's phoenixes. In the eternal world, new realms were born from time to time, just like the birth of a new universe. When new realms were born, just like when the universe was born, many heaven and earth variant species would be born. True dragons, phoenixes, and many other true spirit divine beasts would be born at this time. 130,000. After getting an affirmative answer, a voice came from the 7th VIP seat. There was silence in the hall, and no one continued to bid. For Eternals, 100,000 eternal source stones to buy a female Empyrean slave is a very extravagant thing. 130,000 is already beyond the budget of many Eternals. 150,000. Yang Feng's voice came from the box and echoed in the hall. Feng Juechen's eyes shimmered coldly, and he provoked Yang Feng. 200,000. Yang Feng, if you have the guts, keep bidding. A contemptuous voice came from the box Yang Feng is in, idiot. Floating Cloud uttered with a smile, "If no one bids, this little phoenix is yours." Feng Juechen's face flickered. He didn't expect Yang Feng to give up so decisively. He could only clench his teeth and pay 200,000 eternal source stones to buy the little phoenix. The other Eternals glanced at Feng Juechen with ridicule in their eyes, as if they were looking at a fool. If you go to a slave market, 200,000 eternal source stones can buy dozens of beautiful Empyrean rank female slaves. The next item is the universe coordinates of a place where Eternals have yet to be born. Please state in advance that there are other Eternals who have already sneaked into that universe. Moreover, the universe coordinates have a time limit. Our auction house can only guarantee that the coordinates will be valid for 10 days after the auction. Starting now, the starting price is 1,000 eternal source stones. Each increment must be no less than 100 eternal source stones. 1,300. As soon as Floating Cloud's words fell, the price of the universe coordinates rose until it finally reached 4,000, and it was bought by an Eternal. Universe coordinates, true dragons, phoenixes, eternal fruits, and other treasures of heaven and earth appeared one after another, which broadened Yang Feng's horizons. He also bid for some eternal fruits that the world of warlocks doesn't have, as well as all kinds of treasures of heaven and earth useful to Eternals. Kunmo stone, a peerless mineral used to refine eternal treasures. The starting price is 500,000 eternal source stones. Each increment must be no less than 10,000 eternal source stones. Light flashed in Floating Cloud's hand, and a fist-sized Kunmo stone appeared in his hand. Yang Feng's eyes lit up and flashed with excitement. 600,000. 800,000. The Eternals are obviously knowledgeable people. The price of Kunmo stone quickly rose and exceeded 9 million. This high price forced Yang Feng to give up competing. In Flame Absolute Heaven, eternal treasures are extremely rare and precious. An eternal treasure may be one of the trump cards of an eternal alliance. A fierce ray flashed in the eyes of the returning spirit goat, and he uttered coldly, 13 million. Hearing that voice, the Eternals present fell silent. If there is a universe with a high energy level, then 13 million eternal source stones plus other resources can push an invincible overlord rank Empyrean who is on the verge of breaking through to the eternal sovereign realm. Only the eternal ones of the Eternal Alliance like the Sheep of Destruction could fork out 13 million eternal source stones. Floating Cloud waited for a moment, and then revealed a smile and said, "Since no one else is bidding, then this Kunmo stone is yours." After the returning spirit goat paid 13 million eternal source stones, he took the Kunmo stone with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. Once the Kunmo stone is in his hand, it can be used to refine a new eternal treasure or to enhance the power of an eternal treasure. Now, let's welcome the most precious item of the day. The first 2 levels of the Great Li Heaven / method created by Gu Taili. This is a complete eternal heavenly art. This is the first time such a complete and powerful eternal heavenly art has been auctioned in Flame Absolute Heaven. Although you can only cultivate it once, and you must swear not to teach it to others, weakening the value of this eternal heavenly art. But this is definitely the most precious secret treasure of Flame Absolute Heaven. Now, the starting price of the opportunity to cultivate this eternal heavenly art is 9 million eternal source stones, and each increase must be no less than 1 million eternal source stones. The returning spirit goat's voice was full of passion, and it carried a trace of charm that spread in the hall. 11 million. 13 million. In the auction hall, there was only a moment of silence before the entire hall exploded. Eternal sovereigns bid one after another, competing for the right to cultivate the Great Li Heaven / method. The complete eternal heavenly art that can be cultivated to the second heaven of the eternal realm is too precious for eternal sovereigns. Even some experts who have already advanced to the second heaven of the eternal realm are eager to obtain the eternal heavenly art to repair their foundation, enhance their heritage, and have the opportunity to attack the third heaven of the eternal realm in the future. 27 million. After a cold voice came from box number 7, the auction house fell silent. For eternal sovereigns, the burden of cultivating the Great Li Heaven / method for 27 million eternal source stones is too heavy. With so many eternal source stones, it is enough to cultivate 2 eternal sovereigns. Enigmatic light flashed in Kung Fu Floating Cloud's eyes, and he uttered with a smile, Since no one else is bidding, then the right to cultivate the eternal heavenly art belongs to you. The auction price of the greatly heaven/method is far beyond Kung Fu Floating Cloud's expectations. If he had known that the eternal heavenly art could be sold for such a high price, he would have spared no expense to buy the opportunity to cultivate it. With that, Kung Fu Floating Cloud took the knowledge crystal and walked into box 7. Shortly after, he left box 7 with a satisfied look on his face, entered Yang Feng's box, and handed Yang Feng the eternal source stone. Mother Myriad Lotus' beautiful eyes flickered with an enigmatic light, and she said with a sweet smile, "Yang Feng, you made a lot of money in the Huayu auction house this time. Once you leave the Huayu city, you're bound to be chased by many eternal sovereigns. As long as you teach me the last 5 levels of the greatly heaven/method, the Rainbow Alliance is willing to advance and retreat with you. What do you think?" "No need. It's impossible for them to track me down with just them." Yang Feng smiled indifferently, then turned into a ray of light and disappeared from the box. Chapter 1427. It won't be that easy to escape. Brother Ao, I'm counting on you. When Feng Juechen saw Yang Feng turn into a stream of light and disappear from the box, his eyes shimmered coldly, and he said to an eternal with the head of a dog and the body of a human, 9 noses, a pair of eyes like whirlpools, and a pair of dragon wings on the back. The eternal with the head of a dog and the body of a human is a heaven and earth variant 9-nosed divine mastiff of the eternal world. It can smell the soul fluctuations of eternal sovereigns, and its tracking secret method is the best. The 9-nosed divine mastiff nodded, and mysterious runes appeared on its 9 noses. The whirlpools in its eyes rotated and locked on a direction. This way. The 9-nosed divine mastiff flapped its wings, turned into a stream of light, and soared into the sky. The figures of Feng Juechen and the other eternal sovereigns fluttered, and they turned into streams of light flying into the void. In another box, with a flash of killing intent in its eyes, the returning spirit goat turned to an eternal with an alien head, 1 eye on the head, and countless eyeballs on the body, and said, "Brother Ji, I'm counting on you." The eternal with countless eyeballs on the body nodded, and his eyes flickered. Countless whirlpools appeared in his single eye and flickered with mysterious light. "Found him." The eternal with many eyeballs uttered a hoarse voice, turned into a stream of light, and flew into the void. The eternal sovereigns of the destruction goat set out one after another and flew in Yang Feng's direction. In the Huayu auction house, the eyes of many eternal sovereigns shimmered with frigid killing intent, and they turned into streams of light and chased after Yang Feng. Yang Feng has Gutili's greatly heaven-severing method, which can be practiced to the 7th firmament eternal realm, and it is enough to make many eternal sovereigns go crazy. "Big brother, why don't we quell Yang Feng in the Huayu city? He has the 7th firmament eternal heaven method." In a secret space in the Huayu auction house, a man with a dragon horn on the head asked the Floating Sky Domain's domain master with an unwilling expression. In the Floating Sky Domain, the Floating Sky Domain's domain master can mobilize a portion of the domain's power and display 3rd firmament eternal realm power. Coupled with the cooperation of the other eternal beings and their various trump cards, they could even easily suppress a 2nd heaven of eternal realm expert. The Floating Domain's domain master uttered unhurriedly, "Yang Feng is not a simple person. Besides, he has Gutili's inheritance. Even if we manage to suppress him, as long as he kills himself, we won't gain anything. Instead, we'll offend an eternal one with limitless potential. That's not a very wise decision." The man with a dragon horn on his head was silent for a while, then he sighed and said no more. The most frightening thing about Eternals was their undying bodies. As long as the mark of eternity was not destroyed, Eternals would not die. Defeating an Eternal was easy, but killing an Eternal was extremely difficult. Only powerhouses at or above the Eternal King level or some Eternal treasures with special powers could kill an Eternal being and then cross the distance of an entire universe to destroy the Eternal mark of that Eternal being. In the starry sky outside the Eternal world, "Yang Feng, you have nowhere to run." Feng Juechen's carefree and cold voice rang out from the vast starry sky. In front of an asteroid belt, 6 rays of light flashed, and 6 eternal sovereigns, including Feng Juechen, blocked in front of Yang Feng. Feng Juechen stared at Yang Feng with a look of resentment in his eyes, but there was a look of pleasure in his eyes. When the 6 eternal sovereigns join forces, they can even contend against and even defeat a third heaven of eternal realm powerhouse. The eyes of an eternal who looks like a walking lizard flashed coldly, and he said coldly, "Yang Feng, hand over Gutili's Tily heaven-severing method. Otherwise, this place will be your burial ground today. It's not easy to form a perfect eternal body. Once you die here, even if it takes hundreds of thousands of years, you won't be able to recover your full strength. A bunch of idiots, this will be your burial place." Yang Feng smiled, his eyes shimmered coldly, and he waved his hand. The asteroid belt twisted and blurred, and then turned into a huge sun. In the center of the sun, 10 destruction cannons flashed, and 10 beams tore through the sky and barreled towards the 6 eternal sovereigns. It's a trap. Faced with this fearsome blow, the complexion of the 6 eternal sovereigns changed dramatically. Shrouded in time, they launched the spell Spacetime Walk. In the face of an attack that only has power, the innate spell Spacetime Walk is simply an invincible defense. Idiot! With a sneer in his eyes, Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and ripples of time shone and enveloped the 6 eternal sovereigns. The 6 eternal sovereigns were pulled out of the river of time in an instant and devoured by the destructive cannons. The 9-nosed divine mastiff opened his mouth, and an ancient bronze shield appeared in front of him. The lizard-like Eternal One's body swelled up, and layers of lizard-like scales appeared. There were a total of 10 layers, and they gave off a distorted light. An Eternal with a horn on his head roared, and turned into a 3-headed and 6-armed form. Countless mysterious scales appeared on his body, and his 6 arms raised 6 shields to block in front of him. The eyes of an Eternal with a wolf head and a human body flickered fiercely, countless runes appeared on his body, and a world filled with countless races emerged on his chest. In that world, countless intelligent life forms prayed, and the power of countless prayers converged to form a defensive barrier. The body of a fat, 50-meter-tall Eternal squirmed and turned into a ball of flesh 1,000 kilometers in diameter, and a warping force field reverberated around the ball of flesh. A gust of wind rose around Feng Juechen, and a fearsome storm revolved around him. The light from the destruction cannons engulfed the 6 eternal sovereigns in an instant. After the light full of destruction disappeared, the storm in front of Feng Juechen disappeared, and the lower half of his body disappeared. A cold voice full of killing intent came from the void, and Yang Feng appeared in front of Feng Juechen almost instantaneously, slammed a fist into Feng Juechen, and blasted him apart. An engulfing black hole appeared and enveloped Feng Juechen's shattered body, swallowing him whole. Second heaven of the eternal realm. Feng Juechen only let out a scream of horror, and then his body was swallowed by the black hole. This is an offensive secret method of the Greatly Heaven/method. Greatly Heaven/method, let's have a taste of the power of this move. After insta-killing Feng Juechen, Yang Feng teleported and appeared in front of the giant lizard walking like a human. With a cold smile, he joined his hands, and a copious amount of eternal force gathered and formed a terrifying sword that slashed towards the giant lizard. After the lizard eternal sovereign blocked the destruction cannons, 9 layers of its scales collapsed, and its right hand disappeared. It could only clench its teeth and raise its left arm to block. The heavenly blade formed from eternal force descended from the sky and slashed at the lizard-like Eternal. In an instant, it was cut in two, and a devouring black hole appeared, enveloped the lizard-like Eternal, and swallowed it. Under the bombardment of the destruction cannons, the 4 eternal sovereigns who were also seriously injured turned into 4 streams of light and fled in 4 different directions. Originally, when Feng Juechen and the other 5 eternal sovereigns joined forces, they could even defeat a second heaven of the eternal realm. But now that they were ambushed, 2 eternal sovereigns died, and the remaining 4 were injured, they lost their fighting spirit. Since you're here, then don't leave. Since I set up this trap, if I don't kill you, wouldn't it be a waste of my previous performance? Yang Feng smiled, his eyes flashed with killing intent, and he took a step forward and disappeared. In the eternal relic site, Ling opened her beautiful eyes, and streams of data emerged in her eyes. The countless mechanical towers shrouding the eternal relic site frantically extracted the power of the eternal relic site and poured it into the level 8 stronghold. The level 8 stronghold bloomed like a flower and revealed countless functional units engraved with mysterious runes. Mysterious threads shrouded the void and formed a huge seal barrier that sealed the void. When the nine-nosed divine mastiff slammed into the seal barrier set off ripples and sent him flying back. So you can lock onto my position? Sure enough, eternal sovereigns with tracking secret methods are the most annoying. However, thank you this time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to hunt 6 eternal sovereigns. A cold voice sounded behind the nine-nosed divine mastiff, making him feel a chill. Yang Feng appeared behind the nine-nosed divine mastiff, slammed a fist into him, and blasted him apart. A devour black hole appeared, swallowed the nine-nosed divine mastiff, and devoured his life force origin. A look of horror on his face, the nine-nosed divine mastiff pleaded for mercy. Yang Feng, I am an undying eternal sovereign. You killed me once, but I won't let you off. Let me go. We can form an alliance. With my help, no matter where your enemies hide, they won't be able to escape our pursuit. Although an eternal sovereign won't truly die as long as their eternal imprint isn't extinguished. But once they die, they need to rebuild their eternal body, which consumes a huge amount of resources and endless time. Chapter 1428. That's a good proposal, but unfortunately, I don't trust you. With a cold look in his eyes, Yang Feng willed, and the devour black hole erupted with devour force and frantically devoured the nine-nosed divine mastiff's eternal origin. The nine-nosed divine mastiff stopped breathing in an instant. The eyes of the eternal with an ogre horn on the head shimmered coldly, and he brandished his sword, which shone with countless mysterious runes, and slashed at the seal barrier. Boom! The sealing barrier shook violently, and a crack appeared on it. There was a flash of joy in the eyes of the ogre horn eternal. But in the next moment, his face changed dramatically. The crack twisted and healed. A terrifyingly huge hand appeared behind the ghost horn eternal and slammed into the ghost horn eternal's body, blasting him into pieces. The devour black hole emerged, devoured the ogre horn eternal's eternal origin, and frantically devoured it. Yang Feng, since you're so ruthless, then let's perish together. The eyes of the wolf-headed eternal shimmered fiercely, countless runes flickered on his broken body, and the eternal origin burned. A blood-colored spear emerged from the back of the wolf-headed eternal. Countless souls intertwined with each other, emitting a bone-chilling wail of ghosts and wail of gods. As soon as the bloody spear emerged, the body of the wolf-headed eternal turned into ashes bit by bit. Distorting space and time, the bloody spear, which contains karma, pierced through the sky and stabbed towards Yang Feng. Yang Feng frowned slightly and spread the fingers of a hand, and a tremendous amount of eternal force condensed in front of him and formed a 360-layered barrier. When the blood-colored spear stabbed into the 360 layers of barriers, it pierced through the barriers and stabbed into Yang Feng's right arm. Drops of eternal blood dripped from Yang Feng's right arm. Once these Eternals go all out and burn their eternal origin to launch an attack, it's really troublesome. Yang Feng looked at the drops of eternal blood dripping from his right arm, frowned slightly, and a dignified shade flashed in his eyes. In terms of strength, Yang Feng's second firmament eternal cultivation base is far above that of the wolf-headed eternal. However, it was easy for him to defeat the wolf-headed eternal. Once the wolf-headed eternal ignited its eternal essence, it could also injure him. Any eternal being was a peerless genius of the universe, and definitely could not be underestimated. Yang Feng, you killed me once, I'll remember this. I, the Lord of Giant Hill, will never let you off. A voice filled with resentment came from the 1,000-kilometer-wide, broken, and hollow ball. Mysterious runes appeared, preparing to self-destruct. The Lord of the Giant Hill? Unfortunately, your decision was a step too late. Yang Feng's cold voice came from below the huge sphere the Mound Lord has transformed into, and a huge heavenly blade slashed at the Mound Lord and cut him in two. A black hole appeared and swallowed the Lord of the Giant Hill in one gulp. After devouring 5 eternal sovereigns in one go, a steady stream of eternal origin poured into Yang Feng, causing his aura to soar and become even more terrifying. They're all dead. Feng Juechen and the others went to besiege Yang Feng, yet they all died. How is this possible? So strong. The Eternals hidden in the surroundings were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. They couldn't believe their eyes. When Feng Juechen and the other 5 Eternal Sovereigns joined forces, they could defeat a second Firmament Eternal Realm powerhouse. If the 6 of them went all out and burned their eternal origin, they could even seriously injure and kill a third Firmament Eternal Realm powerhouse once. The 6 Eternal Sovereigns were all killed by Yang Feng. This is simply shocking. In the void, ripples flickered, and a gigantic ram, tens of thousands of kilometers long and white jade in color and surrounded by black destructive light, stepped through the void, directly colliding with Gutili's eternal ruins. The Ram of Destruction. This is the eternal treasure of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance. The Ram of Destruction, the Sheep of Destruction Alliance actually used this eternal treasure. It seems that they want to kill Yang Feng. Yang Feng has 27 million eternal origin stones on him. Coupled with his eternal body and various treasures, even if he can't get the Tylee heaven-severing method, he can still get tremendous wealth. That's right. As long as we can kill Yang Feng, we can get various traces from his eternal body and deduce some traces of the eternal heavenly art. The eyes of the surrounding eternal sovereigns shimmered with enigmatic light. Eternal sovereigns are terrifying existences that are almost impossible to kill. As long as Yang Feng isn't willing, the returning spirit ram can't get the complete eternal heavenly art from him. However, as long as Yang Feng is killed, the returning spirit ram can get traces of the eternal heavenly art from Yang Feng's eternal body and gain great benefits. In addition, the 27 million eternal origin stones are enough to drive many eternal sovereigns crazy. What a powerful force! When Yang Feng saw the Ram of Destruction rushing towards Gutili's eternal relic site, a dignified shade flashed in his eyes. The Ram of Destruction is an eternal treasure. Moreover, it is operated by several eternal sovereigns and possesses tremendous might. Even if he stood in front of the Ram of Destruction, he would still be trampled by the Ram of Destruction and be seriously injured. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he disappeared from in front of the Ram of Destruction. Carrying the breath of destruction, the Ram of Destruction slammed into Gutili's eternal relic site. In front of the power of the Ram of Destruction, destroying an eternal relic site is a piece of cake. Activate the self-detonation system. When the Ram of Destruction was about to hit in front of Gutili's eternal relic site, countless mechanical towers inside the eternal relic site flashed and triggered the core of the eternal relic site. Boom! Gutili's eternal relic site self-detonated in an instant, and the fearsome explosion swept the Ram of Destruction inside. Amid the fearsome explosion, the Ram of Destruction's body shattered inch by inch. Inside the shattered body of the Ram of Destruction, 5 circles of light shone, and the returning spirit ram and the other 4 eternal sovereigns flew out. Yang Feng, you dare to destroy the eternal treasure of my Ram of Destruction alliance. I, the Ram of Destruction, am absolutely irreconcilable with you. The returning spirit ram beckoned with a hand, and the half-collapsed Ram of Destruction shrunk to the size of a palm and entered his hand. He looked at the cracked Ram of Destruction with a look of pain in his eyes, stared at Yang Feng with endless killing intent in his eyes, and roared angrily. Yang Feng swept the returning spirit ram and the other 4 eternal sovereigns with a glance, and his eyes shimmered with frigid killing intent, and he uttered frigidly, "The 5 of you dare to destroy my residence? Do you want to die? Yang Feng, you only relied on that trap, which has now been destroyed. What other ability do you have to be an enemy of the Ram of Destruction? As long as you hand over Gutili's Tylee heaven-severing method, the Ram of Destruction can become your ally, help you seize the absolute Wind Realm, and let you become the domain master of the absolute wind realm. How about it? The returning spirit ram's eyes shimmered with resentment, and his expression flickered, and he revealed a smile. The eyes of the other 4 eternal sovereigns flickered slightly, and greed shimmered in their eyes. The second level of the Tylee Heaven Severing method can be sold for 27 million eternal origin stones. Who knows how many eternal origin stones the complete 7th level of the Tylee Heaven Severing method can be sold for? If the Ram of Destruction gets the Tylee Heaven Severing method, it can sell it again and again like Yang Feng and exchange it for a large amount of precious resources. Since you've destroyed my residence, then all of you can die. A cold ray flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and a tremendous amount of eternal force poured out of him. He joined his hands together and unleashed a secret method recorded in the Supremely Severing Heaven method, and a huge sword slashed towards a sexy and beautiful female eternal sovereign dressed in flowery clothes from the Sheep of Destruction Alliance. Among the 5 eternal sovereigns, this beautiful female eternal is the weakest. The complexion of the beautiful eternal flower moon empress flickered, and flowers formed from moonlight appeared on her. Moons emerged from the flowers and blocked in front of the celestial sword. Countless intelligent life forms living in the moons prayed and gathered the power of a world to form powerful defensive barriers. When the celestial sword slashed down, everything was destroyed. One by one, the moons exploded, and the living beings in the moons were all annihilated by the blade. The peerless blade slashed towards the flower moon empress with a fierce breath. Yang Feng, you're courting death. With a flash of anger in his eyes, the returning spirit sheep appeared in front of the flower moon empress with a huge bronze goat horn shield in his hand and raised the shield to block. When the heavenly blade slashed on the bronze goat horn shield, a terrifying goat-horned demon god appeared, opened its jaws full of jagged teeth, and bit down on the huge heavenly blade. When the goat horn transcendent bit down, it was cut in 2 by the celestial sword, and half of the celestial sword was bitten off. An eternal with a tortoise head and a human body, 70% similar to the black tortoise, appeared, raised its tortoise shell, and blocked in front of the celestial sword. When the remaining power of the celestial sword slashed into the tortoise shell, it blurred and collapsed. With a flash of an afterimage, an eternal with a dragon head and mantis arms strangely appeared behind Yang Feng and slashed his mantis arms at Yang Feng with green light. The eyes of an eternal that looks like a huge chunk of meat but has 9 pairs of eyes flashed, and distorted rays barreled towards Yang Feng. Chapter 1429. Eternal force surged in Yang Feng's hand and formed a great sword. The great sword turned into a shooting star, slashed at the dragon-headed, 6-armed eternal mantis, and sent the dragon-headed, 6-armed eternal mantis flying. When the strange rays hit Yang Feng, they pierced through his defensive barrier, gave him a sharp pain in his head, and threw the eternal force inside him into disorder. Devour runes appeared one after another, and a huge Devour black hole appeared behind Yang Feng. Black Devour light swept out and extracted and devoured the strange black gas inside him, and the sharp pain disappeared. With a flash of an afterimage, Yang Feng appeared 10,000 kilometers away. Eternal sovereign rank powerhouses are really tricky. One-on-one, they aren't my opponent. But with the 5 of them joining forces, it's a bit tricky. Yang Feng looked at the 5 eternal sovereigns and frowned slightly. If it was one-on-one, Yang Feng would have already slain the Flower Moon Heavenly Maiden. But with the 5 eternal sovereigns joining forces, Yang Feng suffered a small loss. Amazing, Yang Feng's strength is really terrifying. The Greatly Heaven Severing method, this eternal heavenly method, is really powerful. To think that Yang Feng can fight 5 eternal sovereigns by himself. It's simply heaven-defying. Unfortunately, he isn't a member of the Eternal Alliance after all. He has too few friends. This time he's dead meat. Gazes of regret focused on Yang Feng, while the eyes of some eternal sovereigns flickered with enigmatic light, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Do it. Kill him. We'll divide his body and treasures equally. A fierce ray flashed in the eyes of the returning spirit goat, and he erupted with eternal force. Circles of destruction revolved around him, and he turned into a 10,000-kilometer-long monster. With a huge wolf-tooth club in hand, he slammed the club towards Yang Feng. Runes emerged from the wolf-tooth club, and light of destruction emitted by the world's destruction interwove, locked the void, sealed the past, present, and future, and barreled towards Yang Feng. The flower moon heavenly maiden took a deep look at Yang Feng, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with frigid killing intent. Eternal force surged and formed a large bow. An arrow appeared on the bow, and one after another, moonlight flowers bloomed on the arrow. As soon as the arrow appeared, Yang Feng's mind was filled with alarms. He sensed that the arrow possessed a frightening power that threatened his life. An eternal with a tortoise head and a human body, 70% similar to a black tortoise, slashed a large axe at Yang Feng. The eternal with a dragon head and mantis arms appeared above Yang Feng with a teleport, then waved his mantis arm and slashed towards Yang Feng, leaving afterimages behind. The eternal sovereign evil eye, which looks like a huge chunk of flesh, flickered, and strange evil light shot towards Yang Feng. Fine, I'll use your lives to test out my eternal heaven art. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly, and he operated the second level of the Devour Heaven method. Runes of Devour appeared around Yang Feng and formed a set of rune armor. Yang Feng's figure shook slightly, and he appeared in front of the returning spirit goat. With a wave of the sword in his hand, a fearsome Devour vortex swept the returning spirit goat into it. Shatter! The returning spirit goat roared and slammed the huge wolf-tooth club into the Devour vortex. At this moment, Yang Feng jumped over the returning spirit goat and appeared in front of the flower moon heavenly maiden. The eternal that looks like a black tortoise fluttered, and then blocked in front of the flower moon heavenly maiden. A tortoise shell appeared on its back and activated a powerful barrier. Although this eternal that looks like a black tortoise only has a first firmament eternal realm cultivation base, but its defense can be rated as number 1 among the destruction sheep. This tortoise shell is really annoying. However, I can use it to test the power of my Devour Heaven method's Devour Heaven thrust. A cold ray flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and the Devour runes suddenly flew out, formed a 10-kilometer-long spike, and turned into a stream of light that stabbed into the tortoise shell. The eternal that looks like a black tortoise smiled coldly, and his eyes filled with confidence. If you want to pierce through my defense, you'll have to practice cultivation for another 100,000 years. When the spike stabbed into the tortoise shell, it forcibly pierced through the tortoise shell and stabbed into the eternal that looks like a black tortoise. No, how can this be? How is this possible? Even if a third firmament eternal realm powerhouse wants to break my tortoise shell, they can only exhaust my power. How can this be? The eternal that looks like a black tortoise shriveled, its eyes flashed with fear, and it screamed miserably. The great black tortoise's defense was destroyed with a single blow. What a strong offensive power! So this is the eternal heavenly method. This is the eternal heavenly method Yang Feng created, so strong. The great black tortoise's tortoise shell can defend against the attacks of third firmament eternal realm powerhouses. Yet it was destroyed by Yang Feng with a single blow. That's simply heaven-defying. A look of shock flashed in the eyes of the Eternals who were spectating. Although Lord Great Black Turtle was only an eternal being at the first heaven of the Eternal Realm, his defensive power ranked in the top 10 in the Yen Absolute Heaven. For such a powerhouse to have his defense broken by Yang Feng with a single blow, this is simply terrifying. Regret flashed in Yang Feng's eyes. The power of this move is not bad, but unfortunately, it consumes too much energy. If I don't use the Armor of Dawn, I won't be able to use it a second time within a short period of time. The Heaven Devourer Thrust is an offensive secret method that gathers Yang Feng's eternal force. Although it is extremely powerful, but it also consumes a lot of energy. With Yang Feng's second firmament eternal realm cultivation base, using it once consumes a large amount of eternal force. At this moment, the strange evil light slammed into Yang Feng and gave him a splitting headache. When the two mantis arms slashed at Yang Feng, they smashed his defensive boundary and opened two huge wounds, and drops of blood dripped from Yang Feng's body into the sky. Yang Feng glanced at the flower moon heavenly maiden and said with a smile, I'm not your opponent. Ripples appeared in the void, and a beam of ice and snow appeared, crossed time and space, and slammed into the flower moon heavenly maiden. Countless ice and snow runes appeared and froze the flower moon heavenly maiden into a huge block of ice. A level 8 stronghold appeared in the void, and a beam from the destruction cannon blasted into the flower moon heavenly maiden in an instant and blasted her into pieces along with the block of ice. The two eternal sovereigns Shui and Zero, dressed in armor, rushed towards the returning spirit sheep, the mantis arm eternal, and the evil eye eternal. There are actually two eternal sovereigns lying in ambush here. He's going to kill us all. Yang Feng, what a ruthless person. He's here to ambush the pursuers. This is a second ambush. What a ruthless method. When the eternal sovereigns saw Shui and Zero appear, a chill welled up in their hearts. If the two eternal sovereigns Shui and Zero had appeared when they ambushed Feng Juechen, then the returning spirit sheep would not have taken the initiative to attack Yang Feng. Feeling that Yang Feng's means have been exhausted, the returning spirit sheep brought the Destruction Sheep Alliance to kill Yang Feng in one fell swoop. Originally, when Yang Feng fought 4 eternal sovereigns alone, he was already at a disadvantage. But the Flower Moon Heavenly Maiden was killed in a sneak attack, and the situation has been completely reversed. 3 rays of light flashed, and the returning spirit sheep, the mantis arm eternal, and the meat ball eternal flew in 3 different directions. Yang Feng alone can already contend against the 3 eternal sovereigns. Coupled with Zero and Shui, they can kill the 3 eternal sovereigns here. The others can leave. But you must stay. Returning spirit sheep. A cold ray streaked past Yang Feng's eyes, and countless runes flickered and turned into a devour black hole that swallowed the returning spirit sheep. Countless runes flickered and frantically devoured the returning spirit sheep's eternal force. A fierce ray flashed in the returning spirit sheep's eyes, and he roared and slammed the wolf-tooth club into the devour black hole with a destructive force. Ripples flickered, and the returning spirit sheep blasted a huge hole into the devour black hole. Shui turned into a mirror of ice and snow suspended in the void, and a beam of ice and snow shot out from the mirror and slammed into the returning spirit sheep. A layer of frost appeared on the returning spirit sheep's body and eroded his body and soul. The returning spirit goat let out a roar and the power of destruction erupted, shattering the frost. A whip of the ruler descended from the sky, slammed into the returning spirit sheep's head, and smashed it. When the returning spirit sheep's head was smashed, a tremendous amount of eternal force interwove and quickly regenerated and formed a new head. How does it feel to fight 1 against 3? The devour black hole disappeared in an instant, and a sword pierced through the returning spirit sheep's heart. Countless runes appeared on the sword and frantically devoured the returning spirit sheep's eternal origin. I'll kill you, Yang Feng, next time you're dead. The returning spirit sheep glared at Yang Feng with resentment in his eyes and said with a ferocious smile. Within a dozen-plus breaths of time, the returning spirit sheep turned into ashes and disappeared. After slaying the spirit returning goat, Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly, and he looked towards the void. Wherever he looked, no eternal sovereigns dared to look at him. The eternal sovereigns who originally held malice against Yang Feng quieted down, not daring to attack Yang Feng. Although Yang Feng fought continuously and consumed a lot of energy, however, he had 2 eternal sovereigns, Zero and Shui, protecting him. Moreover, who knew how many more trump cards he was hiding? None of the eternal sovereigns dared to throw their lives away. Yang Feng pointed with a finger, and tens of thousands of eternal origin stones appeared. A tremendous amount of eternal origin stone poured into his body and restored the eternal force he consumed. His strength is recovering at every moment. Chapter 1430. An hour later, Yang Feng, who has recovered his full strength, smiled coldly at the void and clapped his hands. Distorted light flickered, and mechanical fortresses hidden tens of thousands of kilometers away emerged. Countless interstellar battleships and main battle robots appeared like a tidal wave. This is Yang Feng's other trump card. So many mechanical weapons. I wonder how powerful these weapons are. They may have the power to threaten eternal sovereigns. When the eternal sovereigns saw the dense crowd of mechanical fortresses, battle stars, and 8th-generation battle robots, they inhaled a breath of cold air. At a glance, it is clear that the huge mechanical legion is not to be trifled with. Although the battle robots are naturally not a match for the eternal sovereigns individually, but if they swarm together, they can block the eternal sovereigns for a while. Once the eternal sovereigns are blocked for a while, Yang Feng can take the opportunity to kill the rest of the eternal sovereigns. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he appeared above a huge warship. The huge battleship flashed slightly and led the countless interstellar battleships into the distance. This is the Wind Absolute Realm. Is Yang Feng going to attack the Wind Absolute Realm? What a ruthless method! The Wind Absolute Realm's domain master Feng Juechen has already been killed by Yang Feng twice. I'm afraid that his underlying strength has been exhausted. This is the time when the Wind Absolute Realm is at its weakest. Damn it, it looks like Yang Feng is going to swallow this fat piece of meat. A look of regret flashed in the eyes of the Eternals who were watching this scene. Feng Juechen was killed by Yang Feng twice. Even if he has a contingency plan and can be reborn, but he must have suffered a great loss. The Wind Absolute Realm is at its weakest at this time. It is a fat piece of meat. Many eternal sovereigns have their eyes on this fat piece of meat, but they didn't expect Yang Feng to be so decisive as to take the initiative to attack the Wind Absolute Realm. In the center of the Wind Absolute Realm, in a secret room inside a temple, there was a flash of light, and an eternal mark appeared and entered a spirit pool inlaid with tens of thousands of eternal origin stones. Countless rays of light emerged from the eternal origin stones, absorbed a copious amount of spirit pool water, and formed Feng Juechen's body. Damn it, Yang Feng. Damned bastard. I definitely won't let you off. A fierce glow flashed in Feng Juechen's eyes as he roared out crazily. A normal emperor's aura spread out from his body. The eternal source energy pool, which was enough to condense an eternal body, had run out of resources. Right now, Feng Juechen could only cultivate as an ordinary sovereign and try to think of a way to condense an eternal body. Feng Juechen was an eternal sovereign to begin with, so he had no bottlenecks in advancing to the eternal realm. He only needed to hole up in the domain of absolute wind for 100,000 years and use the various resources in the domain of absolute wind to step into the eternal realm again. Ripples flickered in the outer space of the domain of absolute wind, and an enormous fleet suddenly emerged. Beams of light tore through the sky and bombarded the stars outside the domain of absolute wind. Rumble! 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 Amidst a series of earth-shattering explosions, the stars in the periphery of the domain of absolute wind exploded and turned into countless meteorites that fell from the sky into the domain of absolute wind. Feng Juechen, come out and accept your death. A cold and cruel voice came from the central temple of the domain of absolute wind. Ripples flickered, and Yang Feng walked out of the void and looked at the domain of absolute wind. Yang Feng, you're really stupid to break into my domain of absolute wind. This will be your burial place. Feng Juechen's cold voice came from the domain of absolute wind. Mysterious runes flickered, and the center of the domain of absolute wind cracked open, and a 100-kilometer tall green diamond giant that looks like it's made of diamond emerged. Domain master of the domain of absolute wind, you are the protector of this domain, the master of our domain. Please bless us eternally. Domain master of the domain of absolute wind, please bless us eternally. Countless prayers rang out from the green diamond giant's body as waves of prayers gushed out from the body of the green diamond giant. In the domain of absolute wind, countless intelligent races knelt on the ground and began to pray. The power of the entire domain of absolute wind poured into the green diamond giant. The eyes of the green diamond giant shimmered fiercely, and second firmament eternal realm fluctuations of power slowly spread from it. It treaded on air and sent a fist barreling towards Yang Feng. Gusts of gales soared as numerous experts wearing wind god battle armors flew into the sky, fighting with the battle robots that flew out of the sky. This is your trump card, Feng Juechen? Too weak. However, it makes sense. I've killed you twice, and you've exhausted your foundation. What qualifications do you have to fight me? Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly, and he smiled coldly and spread the fingers of a hand, and a devour black hole appeared and swept towards the green diamond giant. Countless devouring runes appeared and transformed into rays of devouring light that enveloped the green diamond giant's body and extracted its origin power. The green diamond giant struggled frantically inside Yang Feng's devour black hole. Each of its punches and kicks contained world-destroying power, yet it still couldn't tear apart the huge black hole. Under the attack of Yang Feng's 8th-generation battle robots with average battle strength comparable to holy step-rank powerhouses, the powerhouses wearing the Wind God armor were slaughtered as if they were vegetables. In the face of Yang Feng's offensive, the resistance of the entire domain of absolute wind is simply too weak. Damn it, if I hadn't been killed twice, you wouldn't be my opponent in the domain of absolute wind. Feng Juechen's eyes shimmered with unwillingness. His figure fluttered, and he turned into a stream of light and disappeared. Once Feng Juechen leaves the domain of absolute wind, it will be thousands of times more difficult for him to advance to the eternal realm in the future. But for now, only by escaping the domain of absolute wind can he have a way out. You want to escape? How can it be that simple? The rune in Yang Feng's soul sea representing the essence of fate flashed, and the corners of his mouth rose, and he turned into a stream of light and flew towards the temple. Go to hell! Strengthened by the essence of speed, a quasi-Empyrean rank powerhouse wearing a green armor slashed at Yang Feng with a sword. The devour black hole revolving around Yang Feng swept the beautiful powerhouse into it. After a breath of time, the beautiful quasi-Empyrean rank powerhouse turned into dust and dissipated with the wind. Inside the temple, beams that can easily tear Empyrean rank powerhouses to shreds shot towards Yang Feng. Bone spurs, fire arrows, ice cones, and other attacks barreled towards Yang Feng like a tide. Yang Feng frowned slightly, then turned into a terrifying black hole that can devour everything, and a fearsome devour force swept downwards. Countless powerhouses in the domain of absolute wind were swallowed by the devour black hole. Their origin was instantly devoured, and they turned into dust and scattered with the wind. In the wake of the devour black hole, all intelligent life forms turned into dust and scattered with the wind. Eternal. He's an eternal. Damn it, only an eternal can fight an eternal. Why hasn't the domain lord appeared yet? Seeing this scene, the powerhouses in the domain of absolute wind collapsed. Countless powerhouses fled in all directions, not daring to make an enemy out of Yang Feng. Only an eternal can contend with an eternal. This is common knowledge in the eternal world. Existences below the eternal sovereign rank have virtually no way to fight back against eternal sovereigns. It is very difficult for them to even injure an eternal. Found you. Yang Feng easily crushed the countless barriers in the temple, then extended his hand into the void and grabbed Feng Juechen hiding in the void. Yang Feng, I know I was wrong. Please spare my life. Spare my life. I can be your servant and manage the domain of absolute wind for you. I will offer you all the treasures in the domain of absolute wind. I also know the locations of more than a dozen treasure troves. Spare my life, and I will offer those treasures to you. Caught by Yang Feng, fear and despair flashed in Feng Juechen's eyes, and he trembled and pleaded without any backbone. No need. Everything you said, I can take it myself. Besides, I also want to see if I can really kill an eternal sovereign like you. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly, and he stabbed Feng Juechen with his hand, and a copious amount of eternal force erupted and used Feng Juechen's true spirit to search for the location of the eternal mark. Found it. Yang Feng's eyes lit up. In the domain of absolute wind, with Feng Juechen's true spirit as the base, he locked on the eternal mark hidden in the domain of absolute wind, and a vast amount of eternal force erupted and forcibly pulled the eternal mark out of Feng Juechen's body. When Feng Juechen saw the eternal mark in Yang Feng's hand, his eyes shimmered with despair. No. Don't destroy my eternal mark. Yang Feng smiled coldly and squeezed the fingers of his hand, An eternal force erupted and crushed Feng Juechen's eternal mark. A fearsome devour force erupted and devoured the pure eternal soul force released by the eternal mark. Along with a miserable scream, Feng Juechen's eyes lost their soul, and he died. In the flame absolute sky, a huge star fell, and a rain of blood fell. Great sorrow welled up in the hearts of countless intelligent life forms. In the domain of absolute wind and many other domains, Feng Juechen's idols exploded and collapsed one after another. All Feng Juechen's believers lost their strength in an instant. At the same time, a heart-wrenching feeling welled up in their hearts, letting them know that Feng Juechen has died. Chapter 1431. An eternal sovereign died. Feng Juechen has completely fallen. How could this be? He was slain by Yang Feng in the Wind Absolute Realm, and his eternal mark was shattered. He died for real. When the eternal sovereigns in the Yen Absolute Heaven saw the various anomalies that appeared in the sky, shock flashed in their eyes. The most frightening thing about eternal sovereigns is that they are difficult to kill. As long as the eternal mark isn't destroyed, any eternal sovereign can be reborn again and again. Eternal sovereigns who stay in their own domain can mobilize the power of the domain to enhance their combat power. It is because of this that no eternal sovereign has died in the Yen Absolute Heaven for hundreds of thousands of years. Now that an eternal sovereign has died, this caused a great uproar among the eternal sovereigns in the Yen Absolute Heaven. Mother Myriad Lotuses looked at the anomalies that appeared, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with shock. Feng Juechen died for real. Yang Feng is really too strong. When Mother Myriad Lotuses faced Yang Feng at the time, she never thought that an eternal sovereign like Feng Juechen would die at Yang Feng's hands. Yen Juechen died. How could this be? In the spirit returning domain, in a central temple, the returning spirit sheep has been reborn again. Seeing the anomalies of an eternal sovereign dying, its face turned unsightly. When the flower moon heavenly maiden saw the anomalies in the Wind Absolute Realm, fear flashed in her beautiful eyes. Feng Juechen died. He's not going to attack our domains one by one and kill us one by one, is he? Yang Feng took a step and came to in front of a bronze treasury in the temple. This is the treasury of the Wind Absolute Realm's Lord. Without the permission of the Realm Lord, no one is allowed to enter. In front of the bronze treasury, an Empyrean rank bronze statue awakened, released frigid killing intent in its eyes, stared at Yang Feng, and slashed at him with a battle axe. This soulless Empyrean rank secret treasure is really good. As expected of an eternal world. Yang Feng smiled faintly, extended a finger, and flicked the bronze battle axe. A terrifying power exploded out, causing the Emperor-grade statue to fly away. Rune chains suddenly flew out and wrapped around the bronze statue. They sank into the center of the bronze statue and began to corrode it. "Greetings, Master." After a dozen breaths of time, the eyes of the bronze statue flashed red, and it knelt on one knee and said respectfully to Yang Feng. Yang Feng said coldly, "Open the door." "Master." The bronze statue waved its hand, and a series of cracking sounds came from the bronze gate. The gate opened, revealing an incomparably huge treasury. As expected of the treasure vault of the domain master of the realm of absolute wind. With the resources here, I can easily build 5 level 7 bases. It's a pity that level 7 bases won't be of much use in the War of the Eternals. Yang Feng swept the treasury with a glance, and his eyes flashed with regret. There were indeed many rare resources in the treasury. There were even many treasures of heaven and earth that were already extinct in the world of warlocks. He could refine more than 5 level 7 bases. However, unless you control a universe like the world of Transcendent, a level 7 base in a realm like the world of Transcendent cannot protect a realm. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with enigmatic light. In the eternal world, a realm is similar to a universe. Unfortunately, a realm cannot compare to a universe in the end. If Feng Juechen occupied a universe, then even if he died at my hands twice, I wouldn't dare to easily enter that universe to hunt him down. Generally, foreign eternal ones would engrave their eternal mark in their own universe. Within their own universe, they were almost invincible existences. They could easily mobilize the power of a universe and directly suppress an expert at the ninth heaven of the eternal realm. Feng Jueqing and most Eternals in the eternal world place their eternal mark in their respective realms. In this way, although it is easier for them to advance to the eternal realm, but it is also easier to kill them. In the eternal world, only the top powerhouses will go to other universes, seize other ownerless universes, and advance to the eternal realm in those ownerless universes. Ripples flickered, and Zero appeared beside Yang Feng. Looking at the resources in the treasury, she uttered with a scorching look in her eyes, "Lord, I want to continue evolving." After all, the absolute wind realm is a realm in the eternal world. There are countless precious treasures of heaven and earth inside, as well as many precious treasures that Zero needs to evolve. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, "Okay, you can use the treasures in here." Zero smiled sweetly, and countless threads flew out from her and sucked the treasures of heaven and earth inside the treasury into her body. Strands of mechanical silk wrapped around Zero's body, forming a huge cocoon. Sure enough, I was right to come to the eternal world. If I hadn't come to the eternal world, who knows how many tens of millions of years it would take for Zero to evolve to the next level. Yang Feng looked at Zero, who has already begun to evolve, and the corners of his mouth rose into a satisfied smile. "I can also advance now." Yang Feng looked up at the sky, countless runes shone on him, and a vast eternal breath spread in all directions. The entire absolute wind realm churned, and a tremendous amount of life force poured in this direction. Black clouds churned and surged, a terrifying beam of light dropped from the sky and entered Yang Feng's body. Not enough. This bit of power isn't enough for me to advance to the third level of the eternal realm. Eternal Source Rock, come out. A large number of eternal source rocks flew out of Yang Feng, and a tremendous amount of eternal origin poured into him. In the starry sky outside the eternal world, starlight, attracted by a mysterious law, turned into a resplendent beam of light and entered Yang Feng. Someone is breaking through. This direction is the absolute wind realm. Yang Feng, did he break through and reach the third level of the eternal realm? In Yanju Tian, the eternal sovereigns stared at the phenomenon occurring in the domain of absolute wind with shock in their eyes. In the Yen absolute heaven, the third level of the eternal realm powerhouses are already top powerhouses. Once Yang Feng advances to the third level of the eternal realm, he will step into the ranks of the Yen absolute heavens powerhouses. The returning spirit sheep stared at the anomaly with jealousy and envy in his eyes. Third level of the eternal realm. Damn it, if it was me, I would have broken through to the third level of the eternal realm a long time ago. The flower moon heavenly maiden looked at the anomaly in the sky with worry in her beautiful eyes. Third level of the eternal realm, how can he advance so fast? That's right, he cultivates the essence of devour. He devoured a large amount of eternal origin and Feng Jueqing's eternal mark, which is why he advanced so fast. I provoked such a terrifying enemy, what should I do? The mother of myriad lotuses looked at the anomaly, and her beautiful eyes shimmered with envy. Third level of the eternal realm. The greatly heavenly method is really mysterious. Unfortunately, I wasn't the one who obtained this eternal heaven method. Ripples flickered outside the absolute wind realm, and a sun, carrying eternal sovereign rank fluctuations of power, descended from the sky and barreled towards Yang Feng. Obviously, there is someone in the absolute wind realm who doesn't want Yang Feng to advance to the third level of the eternal realm. How dare you? To dare attack us? You're courting death. Shi Shui stepped out of the void, her beautiful eyes shimmered coldly, and she unleashed the eternal heaven method ice and snow heavenly method. A mysterious mirror of ice and snow appeared, and a ray of ice and snow shot out from the mirror. Everything that the divine light of ice and snow passed through was frozen into ice. The sun, which is 1,000 times larger than an ordinary sun, was shown by the ray of ice and snow, and its flames were frozen and turned into a huge ball of ice suspended in the void. Taking advantage of the moment when Shui was pinned down by the sun, ripples flickered in the void, and a figure shrouded in twisted darkness emerged. A bow full of twisted darkness aura emerged, and countless twisted souls formed an arrow that turned into a stream of light shooting towards young Feng in the palace. Big brother Feng. Shui's beautiful eyes flashed with fear, and she cried out. The mirror turned and shone on the arrow. However, although Shui's reaction was fast to the extreme, but she was still a step too late. Before the mirror's divine light shot out, the devil arrow had already reached the palace. 20,000 holy step Vajra rulers appeared, resonated with each other, and formed a huge barrier. When the devil arrow hit the defensive barrier, it easily pierced through it. The 10,000 Vajra rulers exploded, and only their mechanical cores ejected, escaping the disaster. Even the 20,000 holy step Vajra rulers can't contend against the might of an eternal. This is the power of an eternal, an invincible power. You want to kill me? Unfortunately, you're a step too slow. A cold voice came from the palace as a huge hand reached out and grabbed the devil arrow. A terrifying black hole appeared and swallowed the devil arrow. Young Feng, he succeeded in his advancement. Let's go. He succeeded in his advancement. Waves of terrifying eternal will were transmitted through the void. The distorted and blurry figure shrouded in darkness slightly swayed and turned into a stream of light, fleeing outside. Since the two of you have come, then both of you can die here. When Yang Feng walked out of the palace, he looked like an invincible transcendent shrouded in a torrent of time, staring coldly at the void. Chapter 1432. A fearsome torrent of time engulfed him, and Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he disappeared. In an instant, Yang Feng appeared in front of the twisted shadow and sent a fist barreling towards it. Countless runes shone, and the twisted shadow suddenly expanded and formed a black hole that can devour everything. Waves of dark devouring light emerged from the devouring black hole, bringing with them the power to destroy and devour everything as they swept towards the black shadow. Black light emerged, and a world full of bone dragons, dark knights, death monarchs, and countless other undead appeared. The aura of countless undead gathered together and formed a fearsome barrier. Yang Feng slammed his fist into the world full of undead and smashed it. Countless bone dragons, dark knights, death monarchs, and other existences collapsed, shattered, and turned into powder that drifted away with the wind. Taking advantage of the moment when the world was destroyed, a black ray suddenly burst out, broke away from Yang Feng's attack, and flew away. Yang Feng smiled coldly and pointed with a finger, and countless chains appeared and stabbed the black ray. Countless mysterious runes appeared on the chain, and the black light slightly distorted, condensing into a monster with the lower body of a human, 9 tentacles above the neck, and 9 eyes. Yang Feng, you can't kill me. I am one of the 3 eyes of the Black Eyes Alliance, the 9 Eyes Lord. If you kill me, the Black Smoke Alliance won't let you off. A malevolent expression flashed across the eyes of the 9-eyed monster, Lord of 9 Eyes, as it roared crazily. Black Eyes Alliance? Black Eyes, known as the strongest powerhouse in Yenju Heaven, is in your alliance. Even so, you must die. A cold look in his eyes, Yang Feng closed the fingers of a hand, and a fearsome force enveloped the 9 Eyes Lord and crushed it with a palm strike. Countless devour runes appeared and frantically devoured the 9 Eyes Lord's eternal origin. After a dozen-plus breaths of time, the 9 Eyes Lord's eternal origin was devoured and turned into ashes. There's one more. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly, and he looked into the distance, and then his figure blurred and disappeared. In the distance, a 1,000-mile-long transcendent life form, the sun-devouring celestial dog, covered in the flames of the sun, exuded the terrifying aura of an eternal. Not long ago, this was the same sun-devouring celestial hound that had pushed a sun toward the absolute wind region. If Shui hadn't taken action and sealed the sun in ice, once that sun had struck the wind absolute domain, the entire wind absolute domain would have been plunged into misery and suffering. It would have been reduced to a world engulfed in flames, and more than 90% of the intelligent life forms would have died. This was the eternal world, an extremely powerful, exciting, and dangerous world. Without the protection of an eternal, a realm would either be colonized by other realms or destroyed in a war between eternals. These realms didn't have cosmic crystal walls or membrane defenses like those of other universes, and the power within them was far inferior to the universe's will. It was simply impossible for them to contend with an eternal. Ripples shimmered, and the space rulers hidden in the void emerged. 1,000 holy rank space rulers set up a barrier in front of the sun-devouring heavenly hound. Get lost. Yes. The sun-devouring celestial hound slammed into the spatial barrier. The spatial barrier that can stop emperors crumbled, and a huge crack appeared on the 1,000 sacred rank space rulers. Die! A fierce ray flashed in the eyes of the sun-devouring heavenly hound, and it belched a pillar of fire barreling towards the 1,000 holy rank space rulers. Burned by the pillar of fire, the barrier set up by the 1,000 holy rank space rulers was ignited, turned into fireballs, and burned to ashes. Even the core chips were burned to ashes. After the sun-devouring heavenly hound destroyed the 1,000 holy rank space rulers, its eyes flashed with a carefree shade, and it continued to fly forward. In the eternal world, the number of Holy Spirit Warlock rank powerhouses far exceeds that of other universes. However, for an eternal sovereign force, Holy Spirit Warlock rank powerhouses are the backbone. Even the domain lord of a realm will feel a little heartache when 1,000 Holy Spirit Warlock rank powerhouses die. The sun-devouring heavenly hound has just flown 10,000 kilometers away, when 1,000 holy rank space rulers appeared again and set up a barrier in front of the sun-devouring heavenly hound. Hence, go to hell. Enraged, the sun-devouring heavenly hound smashed the barrier, opened its maw, and belched a pillar of fire barreling towards the 1,000 holy rank space rulers. In the wake of the pillar of fire, the 1,000 holy rank space rulers were burned to ashes in an instant. How dare you slaughter my subordinates? How dare you? A cold voice came from the void, and Yang Feng slowly stepped out of the void and looked coldly at the sun-devouring heavenly hound. When the sun-devouring heavenly hound saw Yang Feng, it felt a chill in its heart and cried out, "Yang Feng, didn't you go after the Nine Eyes Lord? Why you here?" "I have already killed the Nine Eyes Lord. You're next." With a cold look in his eyes, Yang Feng took a step forward and spread the fingers of a hand, and a black hole appeared and swept towards the sun-devouring heavenly hound. "Master, save me." With a flash of fear in its eyes, the sun-devouring heavenly hound roared. A golden bell appeared on the neck of the sun-devouring heavenly hound. Countless golden rays intertwined, and a beautiful woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, a sexy figure, and a golden robe appeared in the void, exuding an enchanting aura. "Friend, she is my pet, Ouyang Yana. I don't know how she offended you, but please spare her life. I will go back and teach her a good lesson. Please give me some face." The corners of Ouyang Yana's mouth rose into a haughty smile, and she uttered arrogantly. A frightening aura far superior to Yang Feng's diffused from Ouyang Yana. She extended her lily-white hand and shot out blue light into the sky, entered the whirlpool, and crushed the devour black hole. After smashing the black hole, Ouyang Yana's figure couldn't help but blur. A fourth firmament eternal powerhouse. Yang Feng glanced at Ouyang Yana, raised his eyebrows, and a dignified shade flashed in his eyes. Among the 9 firmament eternal sovereigns, 4th firmament eternal sovereigns, 7th firmament eternal sovereigns, and 9th firmament eternal sovereigns will experience earth-shaking evolution in strength. In the Yenju heaven, the strongest powerhouse is a 3rd firmament eternal sovereign. The eternal ones who had reached the 4th heaven of the eternal realm lived in the higher heavens. If an expert at the 3rd heaven of the eternal realm entered the realm of an expert at the 2nd heaven of the eternal realm alone, he might be suppressed by that expert. However, if a 4th heaven of the eternal realm expert entered the domain of a 3rd heaven of the eternal realm expert, he could kill that 3rd heaven of the eternal realm expert. In the Yenju heaven, A fourth firmament eternal sovereign is virtually invincible. Unless the eternal sovereigns of the Yenju heaven join forces, they may be able to defeat a fourth firmament eternal sovereign. When the sun-devouring heavenly hound saw this, it heaved a sigh of relief and looked at Yang Feng with ridicule in its eyes. During its rampage in the Yenju heaven, who knows how many disasters it has provoked, and it even offended several third firmament eternal sovereigns. However, as long as Ouyang Yuna, who is behind the sun-devouring heavenly hound, appears, the eternal sovereigns can only swallow their anger, not daring to offend Ouyang Yuna. Even if you are a fourth firmament eternal sovereign, since you dare to come and kill me, you have to bear the risk of failure. Go to hell. Yang Feng's eyes flashed fiercely, and he sent a fist barreling towards Ouyang Yuna. How dare you? How dare you attack me? Ouyang Yuna was both shocked and angry. Countless mysterious runes appeared on her, and blue light gathered and formed a blue greatsword with distorted light. A mere power projection wants to block my way. You're courting death. Yang Feng's eyes flashed fiercely, and he slammed his fist into the blue greatsword and smashed it. A huge devour black hole emerged, swept towards Ouyang Yuna, and swallowed her. A fearsome devour force enveloped Ouyang Yuna and devoured her power. You dare attack me? Yenju Tian's Yang Feng, you're dead. I won't let you off. The moment Ouyang Yuna's power projection was sucked into the devour black hole, she uttered a curse full of resentment. Then let me give you a gift. Let me tell you, power projections can't be released casually. Yang Feng's eyes flashed coldly, and he operated the law of karma. Fate essence runes and countless karma threads emerged. Found you! Yang Feng unleashed the essence of devour and extended his hand towards the countless karma threads, and a devour black hole emerged, turned into a huge mouth, and bit along the karma threads. In a secret room of an exquisite palace in profound clear heaven, there sits a blonde woman with blue eyes and blonde hair. She is Ouyang Yuna. At this time, her eyes are closed, and countless runes are flickering on her body. She is comprehending the eternal heavenly method. Suddenly, a bloody maw appeared in the secret chamber, opened its maw, bit Ouyang Yuna, tore off a huge chunk of her flesh, and frantically devoured her eternal origin. Damn it! Yang Feng! Ouyang Yuna instantly opened her eyes, and a cold light swept past her eyes. She stretched out her finger and tapped on the bloody mouth, causing strands of blue light to explode and directly shatter the bloody mouth. Chapter 1433. After shattering the bloody maw, Ouyang Yuna trembled slightly and spewed out a large mouthful of blood. The eternal force inside her churned, and the tremendous backlash force made her fall to the ground in unbearable pain. Yang Feng, I won't let you off. Ouyang Yuna collapsed on the ground and issued a heart-wrenching roar. Ouyang Yuna was at a critical moment in her cultivation. Now that she was attacked by Yang Feng, she was forced to shatter Yang Feng's attack. However, she almost fell into a state of cultivation deviation. Due to the tremendous backlash force, she was seriously injured, and even suffered a trace of injury to her origin. As expected of a fourth firmament eternal realm powerhouse, my attack only intercepted a trace of eternal origin. Yang Feng raised his eyebrows and looked at the blue thread in his hand. This blue thread is the trace of eternal origin he intercepted when he attacked Ouyang Yuna with the essence of devour. Yang Feng, you dare to attack Lady Ouyang Yuna, you're dead. Lady Ouyang Yuna is a peerless powerhouse of the profound clear heaven. Her father, Ouyang Invincible, is one of the 5 tycoons of the profound clear heaven, a peerless powerhouse of the 6th firmament eternal realm. You dare to attack Lady Ouyang Yuna, you're dead. No one can save you. If you kneel down and beg for mercy, I can also plead with Lady Ouyang Yuna to spare your life and only kill you once. Otherwise, once Lady Ouyang Yuna gets angry, your eternal imprint will collapse, and everything will be destroyed by her. With a flash of fear in its eyes, the sun-devouring celestial hound threatened fiercely. You, die once for me. Yang Feng's figure fluttered, and he appeared in front of the sun-devouring celestial hound. With a cold look in his eyes, he spread the fingers of a hand, and a huge devour black hole appeared and swept towards the sun-devouring celestial hound. Damn it, Yang Feng, let's die together. The eyes of the sun-devouring celestial hound shimmered fiercely. 18 suns appeared on its body, twisted, blurred, and surged with eternal force in an attempt to self-destruct. You want to take me down with you? You're simply overestimating yourself. Once you have the courage to shatter the eternal mark, come and take me down with you. Yang Feng smiled coldly, then appeared in front of the sun-devouring celestial hound with a blur, stabbed the sun-devouring celestial hound with his hands, and tore it in half. Countless streams of devouring light emerged from the black hole and swept towards the sun-devouring celestial hound, devouring its eternal source completely. Within a secret room in the palace where Xian Qingtian and Ouyang Yuna resided, an eternal mark appeared within an eternal origin energy pool. It absorbed the liquid within the eternal origin energy pool and formed the sun-devouring heavenly hound's body. Yang Feng, you're dead. The sun-devouring heavenly hound gritted its teeth and disappeared from the spot. In a garden full of rare extraordinary plants, there sits a gorgeous woman dressed in a golden warlock robe. She is the fourth firmament eternal realm Ouyang Yuna. Master, I was killed by Yenju Tian's Yang Feng. You have to avenge me. The originally 1,000-kilometer-long sun-devouring heavenly hound has now turned into a cute golden retriever covered in golden fur. The sun-devouring heavenly hound pounced at Ouyang Yuna's feet and rubbed her jade-like leg. Lacking the demeanor of an eternal sovereign rank fierce beast, the sun-devouring heavenly hound spoke cutely and coquettishly. To Anchuan, I told you not to make trouble for me during this time. Go to the demonic hell path and be punished for 1,000 years. Scram. Ouyang Yuna's beautiful eyes shimmered coldly, and she kicked the sun-devouring heavenly hound. Master, I don't want to go to the demonic hell path. I know I was wrong. Master, please give me a chance. With a flash of horror in its eyes, the sun-devouring heavenly hound was bound by countless chains, and a black hole appeared below it, swallowed it, and teleported away. Yang Feng, you bastard! Hijina! Ouyang Yuna uttered coldly, her eyes cold. Yes, my lord! A peerless beauty with long blue hair that was tied into a single ponytail, wore blue-colored armor, had skin that was crystalline like jade, a tall and sexy figure, and her entire body emitted a heroic bearing appeared extremely abruptly, and she knelt on one knee before Ouyang Yuna as she spoke respectfully. Ouyang Yuna's beautiful eyes shimmered coldly, and she uttered unhurriedly, Go to Yenju Heaven and observe an eternal sovereign named Yang Feng. If there's a chance, kill him. If there's no chance, collect information on him and give it to me. My lord! Traces of blue ripples appeared on Himina's body, and she disappeared from where she was. Ouyang Yuna's beautiful eyes shimmered with killing intent, and she uttered, stressing each syllable, Yang Feng, after I recover, you will die. Yenju Heaven Wind Absolute Domain. Yang Feng took a step, appeared in front of the cocoon formed by zero evolution, spread the fingers of a hand, and a wisp of eternal origin that he refined entered the cocoon. Countless devour runes appeared on the cocoon, and it eagerly absorbed the eternal origin. With a crisp sound, the cocoon shattered, and Zero walked out from the cocoon, exuding a terrifying aura. My lord, thank you for granting me eternal origin, allowing my strength to advance further. Zero knelt on one knee in front of Yang Feng and uttered respectfully. Yang Feng uttered with a smile, Now that you have evolved, we can proceed to the next step. In the Wind Absolute Domain, light shone, and one fleet after another flew out of the Wind Absolute Domain, formed a terrifying fleet torrent, and disappeared into the starry sky. In the starry sky outside the heavenly spring realm, ripples flickered, and an incomparably terrifying fleet appeared from the void. The battle stars atop the huge fleet flashed, and beams of light barreled towards the stars outside the heavenly spring realm like shooting stars. Bombarded by the battle stars, the stars inside the heavenly spring realm exploded one after another, and countless shooting stars fell towards the heavenly spring realm. It is common sense in the eternal world to use stars as the peripheral defense of a realm. Generally, the realm lord will use this method to defend. First destroy the peripheral starry sky of a realm, and then attack the realm. This is the orthodox way to attack a realm. Yang Feng, you dare to attack my heavenly spring realm. Do you want to have an irreconcilable enmity with the Black Spirit Ring? My Black Spirit Ring has 7 eternal beings. Even if you kill Feng Juechen, you won't be able to escape. Even if you killed Feng Juechen, the Black Spirit Ring still has 6 eternal sovereigns left. The nine-nosed divine mastiff emerged from the void, looked at Yang Feng with apprehension in his eyes, and barked. Even if the 6 eternal ones all had the eternal laws of the first heaven of the eternal realm, once they burned their eternal marks and eternal origin, they could jointly display their power. Even an expert at the 4th heaven of the eternal realm would be seriously injured if they were not careful. I'll kill you. The Black Spirit Ring only has 5 eternal sovereigns left. Besides, it is you and the other 2 eternal sovereigns of the Black Spirit Ring who have a grudge against me. The other 3 eternal sovereigns of the Black Spirit Ring may not be willing to live and die with you. Yang Feng looked at the nine-nosed divine mastiff with ridicule in his eyes and said with a cold smile. The nine-nosed divine mastiff's face turned very unsightly. Among the eternal sovereigns who besieged Yang Feng at the time, only the nine-nosed divine mastiff and Feng Juechen attacked him. The other 2 eternal sovereigns are powerhouses of the Black Spirit Ring. Eternal sovereigns are overlord-rank existences who put their own interests first. The eternal sovereigns of the Black Spirit Ring who didn't participate in the siege of Yang Feng will never advance or retreat with the nine-nosed divine mastiff and the others to resist such a fearsome enemy. Yang Feng said coldly, "Nine-nosed, submit to me and serve me. Otherwise, today will be the day you die. This will be your burial ground." Countless light beams bombarded the sky above the heavenly spring area like raindrops, destroying the stars one by one. Stars fell like rain. No, I am free. No one can make me submit. Even if I have to escape from the heavenly spring realm, I will never yield. The eyes of the nine-nosed divine mastiff flashed fiercely, and he faced upwards and issued a roar. As the heavenly spring realm's realm master, the nine-nosed divine mastiff's eternal mark is in the heavenly spring realm. Once he escapes from the heavenly spring realm, it will be difficult for him to advance to the second firmament eternal realm. Even if he encounters a fortuitous encounter in other places, he won't dare to advance to the second firmament eternal realm. Otherwise, once an advancement phenomenon occurs in the heavenly spring realm, his eternal mark will be discovered by the new realm master of the heavenly spring realm. It is for this reason that the universe and realms with the eternal mark of an eternal are existences that eternal sovereigns can't give up. Yang Feng said coldly, "Aren't you afraid that I will destroy the entire heavenly spring realm and bury it with you? As long as a universe exists, an eternal will never die. The same is true for eternal sovereigns who have placed their eternal mark in realms. Once a realm is destroyed, they will die." The nine-nosed divine mastiff's face changed dramatically, and his eyes flickered. Yang Feng uttered lightly, "How about this? Make an oath to the Oath Monarch to serve me for 30,000 years. After 30,000 years, I will return you your freedom." But after weighing the pros and cons, the nine-nosed divine mastiff gritted his teeth and summoned the Oath Monarch to serve Yang Feng. "Greetings, my lord." After making the oath, the nine-nosed divine mastiff's figure fluttered, and he came to Yang Feng's side with a complicated look in his eyes. "Let's go to the next place." The huge fleet turned around and flew towards the next starry sky. This is the Black Cloud realm where the Black Wolf Lord is. Sure enough, he wants to settle accounts and flatten them one by one. Looking in the direction of the huge fleet, the nine-nosed divine mastiff smiled bitterly, and then a look of excitement surged in his eyes. Chapter 1434. In the starry sky outside the dark cloud realm, ripples flickered, and a huge interstellar fleet emerged. At the moment when the interstellar fleet emerged, stars outside the dark cloud realm shone, resonated with each other, and formed a huge barrier. Countless warships in the interstellar fleet flashed, and beams from their primary artilleries tore through the sky and slammed into the huge barrier. Ripples emerged on the starry barrier and blocked the bombardment of the warship's primary artilleries. You want to block my way with this kind of barrier? Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly, and he unleashed a secret method recorded in the supremely heaven-severing method, and a copious amount of eternal force intertwined and formed a huge sword that slashed towards the starry barrier. Bringing with it an aura that seemed capable of destroying everything, the incomparably huge heaven blade slashed against the huge starry sky boundary in an instant. The starry sky barrier was sliced apart like butter by the heavenly saber. One after another, the heavenly saber shattered the stars and exploded them. A terrifying hole that could not be healed appeared on the starry barrier. The densely packed beams of light shot out from the incomparably terrifying hole and entered the starry sky boundary. One star after another collapsed and shattered under the bombardment of the beams, and countless meteorites fell into the realm below. Yang Feng, do you want to be ruthless? Light condensed above the dark cloud's realm and formed a projection of a 1,000-kilometer-long dark wolf lord with a wolf head and a human body, and it roared at Yang Feng. Yang Feng looked at the dark wolf lord with a cold look in his eyes and uttered frigidly, "Dark wolf lord, submit to me, or today will be the day of your death." Nine Noses stepped out from behind Yang Feng and sighed faintly, "Old friend, submit. As long as you are willing to swear to serve the Lord for 30,000 years, the Lord will let you go and return your freedom after 30,000 years. Otherwise, I will have to attack you." Yang Feng glanced at Nine Noses and acquiesced to his words. The Dark Wolf Lord, who was just a first firmament eternal realm powerhouse, was not Yang Feng's opponent. However, if he burned the eternal imprint and launched an attack, the power would be earth-shattering. Even ninth firmament eternal realm powerhouses would be moved. Therefore, if it wasn't necessary, few Eternals would force other Eternals to burn the eternal imprint and everything else. No. I'm free. I will never submit to anyone. Yang Feng, I don't care about the fact that you killed me once. However, if you dare to enter my dark cloud realm, then even if I have to burn my eternal origin, I will take you down together with me. The Dark Wolf Lord's eyes shimmered fiercely, and he threatened fiercely. Yang Feng said frigidly, "Then go to hell. Do it." Zero stepped out of the void, and a cold light flashed in her beautiful eyes. The Level 8 main battle base appeared behind her, and the fully charged destruction cannon flashed. A terrifying beam of destruction blasted out from the destruction cannon and barreled towards the Dark Cloud's Wolf City in the center of the Dark Cloud's domain. Within that incomparably huge Dark Cloud Wolf City, traces of dark light flickered. The incomparably huge dark clouds gathered to form a dark cloud wolf. Great Dark Wolf Lord, you are the guardian of us wolves, you are the sole master of the Dark Cloud realm. We are willing to devote all our strength for you. Please protect us. In the Dark Cloud realm, countless wolf powerhouses knelt on the ground and prayed piously and loudly. Great Dark Wolf Lord, you are the sole master of the Dark Cloud realm. Please protect us. In the Dark Cloud realm, the powerhouses of various races knelt on the ground and prayed towards the altars. The power of faith from the entire realm gathered together and entered the body of the Dark Cloud Wolf. Exuding second firmament eternal rank breath, the Dark Cloud Wolf extended its claw and clawed at the destruction cannon beam in the sky. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose slightly, and his eyes shimmered with ridicule. The Dark Wolf Lord's claw tore through the sky and slammed into the destruction beam. An incredible scene appeared. The Dark Cloud Wolf, which had gathered the power of an entire domain in the Dark Cloud precinct, turned into ashes inch by inch under the bombardment of the incomparably terrifying destructive light beam. When the beam of destruction slammed into Dark Cloud's Wolf City, the numerous barriers that appeared around Dark Cloud's Wolf City crumbled one by one. The entire Dark Cloud's Wolf City was obliterated by the beam of destruction. A terrifying mushroom cloud that covered a radius of 10,000 miles slowly rose into the sky, and a terrifying shockwave swept out in all directions. In the Dark Cloud realm, mountains collapsed, the earth quaked, magma gushed, and tsunamis erupted. It was a scene of the end of the world. The huge interstellar fleet's artilleries mercilessly barreled towards the gathering places of the wolves in the dark cloud realm. Wherever the beams of light landed, cities were obliterated by the beams, and the wolfman powerhouses within the cities were killed in an instant. The strongest point of a realm lord is that they can mobilize the power of the intelligent life forms in the realm, unite them, and strengthen themselves. If the intelligent life forms in the realm die out, how much power can the realm lord mobilize? Yang Feng said coldly towards the dark cloud wolf city with a cold look in his eyes. Standing behind Yang Feng, 9 Noses broke out in a cold sweat. What a ruthless method! Fortunately, I submitted to him. Otherwise, I'm afraid that the heavenly spring realm would really be destroyed by him just to kill me. Originally, 9 Noses thought that Yang Feng was just threatening him, and that he wouldn't dare to destroy a realm easily. But when he saw the apocalyptic scene of the heavenly spring realm, his heart suddenly turned cold and filled with fear. Virtually every eternal sovereign who came from other universes is a fearsome existence who climbed to the top of a mountain of corpses, a sea of blood, and the bones of countless powerhouses. Everyone's will is as hard as iron. In order to achieve their goal, they won't hesitate even if they have to destroy a universe. Yang Feng, you dare to kill the powerhouses of my race. I'll fight you to the death. An earth-shaking roar came from the dark cloud wolf city, and a 10,000-kilometer-tall dark wolf lord, who looks like he's shrouded in clouds, burned all his eternal origin, tore through the sky, and sent a claw barreling towards Yang Feng's flagship. Shit! 9 Noses' face fell. Barriers emerged around him, and he fled frantically. 1,000 holy rank Vajra rulers appeared and opened a powerful barrier blocking in front of Yang Feng. When the giant claw slammed into the barrier, it easily tore it apart, and then slammed into Yang Feng. Under the shocking attack of the giant claw, Yang Feng's body crumbled, turned into powder, and disappeared. He's dead? How could it be so easy? In the dark cloud wolf city, the dark wolf lord's body crumbled bit by bit, and his eyes shimmered with incredulity. You're still reluctant to burn the eternal mark. You want to die to injure me? How naive! Ripples flickered, and Yang Feng appeared behind the dark wolf lord. With a look of ridicule in his eyes, he stabbed his claw into the dark wolf lord's body, which has already begun to collapse. Caught you! A tremendous amount of eternal force was unleashed. Under the guidance of the extraordinary force of the law of karma and the essence of fate, Yang Feng used the dark wolf lord's body as a base and locked onto the eternal mark hidden in the dark cloud realm. He extended his hand and extracted the eternal mark from the dark wolf lord's body. No, don't kill me. I'm willing to submit. I'm willing to serve you for 30,000 years. No, 300,000 years. When the dark wolf lord saw the eternal mark, fear welled up inside him, and he screamed in horror. Too late. Yang Feng smiled coldly and crushed the dark wolf lord's eternal mark. A fearsome devour force enveloped the dark wolf lord's broken eternal mark and devoured the dark wolf lord's eternal true spirit. The wisps of eternal true spirit power were absorbed by Yang Feng and strengthened his eternal mark. One of the most important reasons why Yang Feng can practice cultivation so fast is that he has destroyed the eternal marks of several eternal sovereigns and devoured the power of the eternal true spirit inside their eternal marks. An incomparably huge star fell from the sky of Yen Absolute Sky. A rain of blood filled the sky, and all living things grieved. Countless statues of the Black Wolf Lord cracked open. He died. The Dark Wolf Lord died. Another eternal perished. Yang Feng, it was Yang Feng, he killed another eternal sovereign. How terrifying! The Black Wolf Lord was actually killed by Yang Feng in his own realm. How could this be? When the eternal sovereigns saw this scene, a chill flashed in their eyes. In the flame blood heaven, eternal sovereigns dying is very rare. As for eternal sovereigns, they were as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. In the flame blood heaven, only during the War of the Heavens 1 million years ago did eternal sovereigns die. Now that Yang Feng has appeared, 2 eternal sovereigns have died at his hands, which made the eternal sovereigns of the flame-blood heaven feel a chill in their hearts. From today on, the dark cloud realm is one of my territories. Anyone who trespasses without my permission will die. Yang Feng grabbed the treasury hidden by the Dark Wolf Lord, looked up at the void, and spoke in a cold voice full of killing intent. When the eternal sovereigns spying on the dark cloud realm heard Yang Feng's voice, their countenance flickered, and their eyes shimmered with a dignified shade. Chapter 1435. The Dark Cloud Realm is a huge realm among eternal sovereigns. It is rich in resources, even richer than before the evolution of the world of warlocks. In the Dark Cloud Realm, there are many resources that eternal sovereigns need. Originally, the eternal sovereigns wanted to take advantage of the fact that the Dark Wolf Lord was killed by Yang Feng to plunder them. However, Yang Feng's words deterred the eternal sovereigns. None of the eternal sovereigns wants to give Yang Feng an excuse to attack their realm. After Yang Feng left a sentence, a fleet entered the Dark Cloud Realm and began to collect resources and suppress the rebellion. With a flash of light, the huge fleet disappeared into the void and flew towards the Green Lizard region. Greetings, Your Majesty Yang Feng, Lord Green Lizard. I am willing to submit to you and serve you for 30,000 years. I hope that you will forgive my previous sins, take me in, and let me serve you, Your Majesty. Yang Feng's huge fleet has just jumped to the Green Lizard realm, when the Green Lizard Lord, who looks like a humanoid lizard, appeared in front of the huge fleet and bowed to Yang Feng in salute. Seeing the Dark Wolf Lord die at Yang Feng's hands so easily, the Green Lizard Lord knows that he can't stop Yang Feng's army, and so he chose to submit. Yang Feng uttered lightly, "Okay. Swear it." The Green Lizard Lord summoned the Oath Monarch and swore an oath to serve Yang Feng for 30,000 years. The lifespan of eternal sovereigns is calculated in hundreds of millions of years. In other universes, as long as the universe exists, eternals will never die. In the eternal world, as long as the realm exists, eternals will never die. The lifespan of the realms in the eternal world is calculated in hundreds of millions of years. Unless they are destroyed by other eternal sovereigns, the realms basically won't be destroyed naturally. For ordinary extraordinary life forms, 30,000 years is extremely long. But for eternal sovereigns, it is just a small fragment of their endless lifespan. Since the Green Lizard Lord advanced to the eternal realm, he has lived for more than 10 million years. A trifling 30,000 years is nothing to him. But let's continue. The huge interstellar fleet immediately adjusted its direction and flew towards the next eternal realm. There are a total of 5 eternal sovereigns who followed Feng Juechen to besiege Yang Feng. They are the Nine Noses Lord, the Green Lizard Lord, the Black Wolf Lord, the Exploding Ghost Lord, and the Giant Hill Lord. After the Nine Noses Lord and the Green Lizard Lord submitted to Yang Feng, the 2 eternal sovereigns, the Exploding Ghost Lord and the Giant Hill Lord, also chose to submit to Yang Feng and serve him for 30,000 years. Although eternal sovereigns are not willing to be under others, but compared to eternal life, serving Yang Feng for 30,000 years is not unbearable. Although Nine Nose and the other 3 eternal sovereigns are first heaven eternal realm powerhouses, but after they joined Yang Feng's camp, Yang Feng's power in Yen Absolute Heaven skyrocketed, and he formed a powerful eternal alliance. Spirit Flower Realm. With a flash of light, Yang Feng's huge fleet appeared outside the Spirit Flower Realm. Beams of light containing destructive radiance blasted towards the stars floating in the outer starry sky of the Spirit Flower domain. The stars shone brightly, and the flowers bloomed and intertwined, forming a huge flower barrier. When the beam of light slammed into the flower barrier, it set off ripples at once. Rays of light shone, countless moonlight intertwined, and a projection of the flower moon heavenly maiden formed in the void. Greetings, Your Majesty Yang Feng. If I have offended you in any way before, please forgive me. I can compensate you 5 million eternal origin stones. Please be magnanimous and spare me this once. The flower moon heavenly maiden bowed to Yang Feng standing in front of the warship in a delicate and charming manner and pleaded. A cold look in his eyes, Yang Feng said frigidly, "Flower Moon Heavenly Maiden, submit to me and serve me for 30,000 years. Otherwise die." There was a flash of anger in the Flower Moon Heavenly Maiden's beautiful eyes, and she sank into her thoughts. "Yang Feng, you talk big. To force an eternal of my destruction sheep alliance, you dare? Do you want to provoke an eternal war in Yen Absolute Heaven?" A cold voice came from the void, and the returning spirit sheep stepped out of the void, followed by the three eternal sovereigns who besieged Yang Feng. The three eternal sovereigns looked at Yang Feng with apprehension in their eyes. The two eternal sovereigns Feng Juechen and the Black Wolf Lord died at Yang Feng's hands, and their realm was seized by him. The four eternal sovereigns, the Nine Noses Lord, the Green Lizard Lord, the Exploding Ogre Lord, and the Giant Hill Lord, were forced to submit to Yang Feng and serve him for 30,000 years. The three eternal sovereigns are alarmed by Yang Feng's ability, and they regret provoking such a terrifying enemy as Yang Feng. However, since they provoked a great enemy like Yang Feng, they could only stick together with the returning spirit goat and continue on their path. "Returning spirit sheep, you came at the right time. I'll kill you again. At that time, it will be easier to deal with you in your realm." Yang Feng swept the returning spirit sheep and the other four eternal sovereigns with a knife-like gaze and revealed frigid killing intent. An enigmatic ray flashed in the eyes of the returning spirit sheep, and he bowed respectfully towards the void and said, "Sir Black Eyes, Yang Feng wants to provoke an eternal war in Yen Absolute Heaven. Please preside over justice." In the void, Black Aura shone. An incomparably frightening gate of darkness appeared in the void. Boundless dark aura gushed out from the gate of darkness. An incomparably frightening black eye condensed within the boundless darkness. As soon as the black eye was formed, a human figure full of muscles appeared below the black eye. As if it was the black eye's carrier, it slowly walked out of the door of darkness. Behind Black Eyes, there are 7 eternal sovereigns. One of them is the Nine Eyes Lord who went to assassinate Yang Feng that day. "Sir Black Eyes, our number 1 powerhouse, Sir Black Eyes, is here. Since Sir Black Eye is here, then Yang Feng is screwed." The eyes of the eternal sovereigns of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance shimmered with ecstasy. Black Eyes is the number 1 powerhouse of Yen Absolute Heaven, a third heaven eternal realm overlord. He has advanced to the third heaven eternal realm 50 million years ago. He is an undying overlord who has survived countless wars. The reason why the Sheep of Returning Spirit is full of confidence is that he invited Black Eyes to take action. Not only did Black Eyes come in person, but he also brought along 7 eternal sovereigns of the Black Eyes Alliance. Among the 7 eternal sovereigns, there are 2 second heaven eternal realm powerhouses. This kind of strength is simply heaven-defying. The Sheep of Destruction Alliance has a total of 5 eternal sovereigns. Coupled with the 7 eternal sovereigns of the Black Smoke Alliance, the number of eternal sovereigns they have far surpassed that of Yang Feng's Eternal Alliance. When the 4 eternal sovereigns, the Nine Noses Lord, the Green Lizard Lord, the Exploding Ogre Lord, and the Giant Hill Lord saw this scene, a gloomy shade streaked past their eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that they have sworn to the Oath Monarch to serve Yang Feng, and the price of violating the oath is too great, they would have fled by now. Surrounded by black light, Black Eye looked at Yang Feng and said coldly, "Yang Feng, you destroyed the peace of Flame Absolute Heaven, provoked a war between eternal sovereigns, and killed the Lord of 9 Eyes of the Black Eyes Alliance. How do you plan to atone for this sin?" Yang Feng, hand over the complete greatly heaven-severing method. Offer it to the Black Eyes Alliance, and the Black Eyes Alliance will accept you as a member of the Alliance and make you our deputy Alliance leader. There was a flash of resentment in the eyes of the Nine Eyes Lord, but he still suppressed the resentment in his heart and uttered with a smile. When they heard this, the complexion of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance's eternal sovereigns flickered. They realized that the Black Eyes Alliance didn't intervene to uphold justice, but for the complete greatly heaven-severing method in Yang Feng's hands. In such a short period of time, Yang Feng has advanced to the third heaven eternal realm. This speed of advancement has attracted the attention of the eternal sovereigns of Yen Absolute Heaven. Although the eternal sovereigns of Yen Absolute Heaven covet the greatly heaven-severing method in Yang Feng's hands, but no one dares to attack him. Only Black Eye, the #1 powerhouse of Flame Absolute Heaven, would use the excuse of helping the Sheep of Destruction Alliance to attack Yang Feng and seize the greatly heaven-slicing method from him. How about this? I'll kill all the people of the Black Eyes Alliance so that you don't have to atone for your crime. What do you think? Black Eyes? A cold ray flashed in Yang Feng's eyes, and eternal force surged. He cast the greatly heaven-severing method, and a heavenly blade emerged, absorbed universe force, and turned into a heavenly blade capable of cutting and destroying everything, and slashed towards the Nine Eyes Lord. Save me, Sir Black Eyes! Suddenly enveloped by the danger of death, the Nine Eyes Lord's face fell, and he screamed. Yang Feng, you aren't the only one who possesses the eternal heaven method in this world. A fierce ray flashed in Black Eyes' eyes, eternal force surged, and he pulled out a demonic sword with countless eyeballs and exuding twisting power from his spine. The eternal treasure Black Eye demonic sword. This is my, Yenju Tian's, most destructive devil sword. This Black Eye demonic sword is the most fearsome eternal treasure in Yen Absolute Heaven. Since Black Eyes used this eternal treasure, it seems that he wants to kill me. When the eternal sovereigns of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance saw this scene, their eyes flashed with excitement. Black Eyes waved the Black Eye demonic sword, and an eyeball on the demonic sword with countless eyeballs opened, and a fearsome sword ray slashed out, turned into a black tortoise in the void, and blocked in front of the Nine Eyes Lord. When the fearsome heavenly blade slammed into the black tortoise, it exploded and shattered along with the black tortoise. Chapter 1436. Yang Feng, in my Black Eye Demon Sword, there are 9 eternal sovereigns that I killed sealed. You will become the 10th eternal sealed within my Black Eye Demon Sword. Although eternal sovereigns have immortal bodies, but once they are sealed, they will fall into eternal slumber. It's no different from being dead. Hand over the greatly heaven-severing method. Otherwise, today will be the day you are sealed. Pointing the Black Eye sword at Yang Feng, Black Eye's eyes shimmered with frigid killing intent, and he uttered coldly. Eternal sovereigns have an almost terrifying immortal characteristic. No matter how many times they are killed, as long as the eternal imprint isn't broken, they will be reborn. In the eternal world, there are as many powerhouses as clouds and supreme geniuses. They have developed various secret methods to deal with eternal sovereigns. Among them, the most terrifying is the seal on eternal sovereigns. Once an eternal is sealed by a seal, they will fall into eternal slumber. As long as the seal isn't lifted, they will remain in slumber. After sealing the eternals, it would be very easy to attack the realms ruled by the eternals. Many eternal beings would rather self-destruct when faced with sealing secret techniques than be sealed. You want to seal me with just you? You overestimate yourself. A cold ray streaked past Yang Feng's eyes. He took a step, and a heavenly sword appeared again and slashed at Black Eye. Stubborn fool. Kill them all. A fierce ray flashed in Black Eye's eyes, and he brandished the Black Eye sword in his hand and fought Yang Feng. A ruler's whip emerged from the void and slammed into the head of the Lord of Nine Eyes. A terrifying power erupted and blasted the head of the Lord of Nine Eyes into pieces. Devour imprints emerged, swept up the Nine Eyes Lord's remains, and devoured his life origin. Zero walked out of the void, followed by the 12 saints of the ruler. Exuding eternal might, the 12 saints of the ruler suddenly turned into 12 streams of light and fought the 6 eternal sovereigns of the Black Eye Alliance. None of the 12 eternal sovereigns were a match for the eternal sovereigns of the Black Eye Alliance. But when the 12 of them joined forces, they resonated with each other and complemented each other, forcibly blocking the 6 eternal sovereigns of the Black Eye Alliance. Nine-Nosed gritted his teeth and roared, "Reinforcements! Master indeed has countless trump cards. Everyone, let's go and stop them. Once Master kills Black-Eyed, we'll be able to win." The Lord of the Giant Hill and the other Eternal Ones could only grit their teeth and use all kinds of offensive secret techniques to fight against the Eternal Ones of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance. Countless 8th-level battle robots also joined the fray, drawing away the energy of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance Eternals and depleting their strength. In front of an Eternal, the 8th-class battle robots couldn't even withstand a single blow. However, the attacks of the 8th-class battle robots could still consume the power of the Eternal's protective boundary, forcing the Eternal to consume their power to destroy them. Nine-Nosed and the other 3 Eternal Sovereigns were originally no match for the 6 Eternal Sovereigns of the Sheep of Destruction Alliance. But with the help of the countless 8th-class battle robots, they barely maintained a balance. Zero didn't join the fray. She just stood quietly in the void with the whip of the ruler in hand, looking down on everything like a queen. The Lord of the Nine Eyes, whose eternal origin has been devoured, has turned into ashes. Why isn't she taking action? Does Yang Feng still have strength left? When the Eternal Sovereigns hidden in the void saw Zero standing proudly in the void, their eyes shimmered gloomily. In Flame Absolute Heaven, many Eternal Sovereigns don't want to see Yang Feng rise. There are many Eternal Sovereigns hidden in the void. If Yang Feng is defeated, these Eternal Sovereigns will swarm him and tear him to pieces. But Zero standing in the void intimidated all the Eternal Sovereigns, making them not dare to act rashly. She will join the fray sooner or later. When the golems are completely destroyed, that will be the time of Yang Feng's defeat. If this stalemate continues, it will be Yang Feng who loses. The Eternal Sovereigns hiding in the void like cheetahs lurking quietly, waiting for an opportunity to hunt. The strength of the 4 Eternal Sovereigns is far below that of the 6 Eternal Sovereigns of the Sheep of Destruction. The countless 8th-class battle robots were easily destroyed by the 6 Eternal Sovereigns. The Eternal Sovereigns are waiting for Nine-Nosed and the other 3 Eternal Sovereigns to collapse. In the center of the battlefield, a huge celestial sword and a demonic sword are slashing at each other. Every time they collide, the void cracks. Universe rifts appear in the void. Black Eyes, you're really strong. You're qualified to see the eternal heaven method I created. Yang Feng's eyes flashed with scorching fighting spirit. Eternal force surged inside him, and countless Devour runes appeared and formed a Devour armor that covered him. Yang Feng took a step forward and sent a fist flying. Devour black holes rose and fell on his right fist, destroying and devouring everything in their path. It was a fearsome sight. Black Eye's heaven method. Countless mysterious runes appeared in Black Eye's eyes. He waved the Black Eye sword in his hand, and a black tortoise flew out, opened a huge black tortoise shield, and blocked in front of him. Boom! An earth-shattering sound erupted, and the black tortoise shield crumbled into pieces. Black Eye's face flickered, and 2 eyes opened on the Black Eye sword. A true dragon and a phoenix flew out and unleashed the innate skills of the 2 true spirit races to attack the fist. Devour black holes emerged and devoured everything. A fearsome force erupted and crushed the true dragon and Feng Huang. He then punched Black Eye's Black Eye Demon Sword. A black giant centipede skin appeared on the Black Eye Demon Sword, and a layer of strange, sticky liquid appeared, dissipating 70% of the power. Black-Eyed was sent flying thousands of miles away by the punch, his face slightly pale, and his eyes flashed with shock. This is not the supremely severing heaven technique. It is your own creation, the eternal heaven technique that is most compatible with your path. How is this possible? How could you create such a powerful eternal heaven method in such a short period of time? The supremely heaven method is a 7th firmament eternal heaven method, which is extremely powerful. However, this eternal heaven method is the most suitable for Gu Taili's path. It is difficult for others to exert the power of this eternal heaven method. The eternal heaven method Yang Feng created with his own path is simply appalling, far more powerful than an ordinary eternal heaven method. Black Eyes, who has advanced to the 3rd firmament eternal heaven more than 10 million years ago, is actually suppressed by Yang Feng, which fills him with shock. That's right, Black Eyes. You can go to hell. Yang Feng's eyes flashed coldly, countless mysterious runes appeared on his body, and he unleashed the Devour Heaven method and sent one punch after another barreling towards Black Eyes. If this was a competition, I would have lost. But this is war. Yang Feng, this time, it's you who's going to die. Black Eyes regained his calm. His eyes shimmered with frigid killing intent, and he brandished the Black Eye Demon Sword in his hand. One after another, eternal projections appeared, and they unleashed all kinds of incredible offensive secret methods barreling towards Yang Feng. Devour runes appeared on Yang Feng's fists, smashed the eternal projections, and devoured their power. The more he fought, the stronger he became. But he still couldn't kill Black Eyes. After all, Black Eyes is a veteran powerhouse, and he has an endless number of treasures on him. Every time he is in a crisis, he will send a treasure to defend himself, block Yang Feng's attacks, and stall him. On the other side, under the siege of returning Spirit Goat and the other powerhouses, Nine Nose and the other 3 eternal sovereigns are injured, and their eternal force has begun to decline. Black Eyes, you're worthy of being the first Firmament Eternal Heaven's powerhouse. I underestimated you. I'll let you experience my true power and let you die in peace. Twilight God Armor. Yang Feng's eyes shimmered coldly and he barked. A rune appeared on Yang Feng's chest and changed into a set of Twilight God Armor that covered his whole body in an instant. Countless runes shone on the Twilight God Armor, and a terrifying force entered Yang Feng's body. Devour Heaven Thrust. Yang Feng's eyes flashed coldly, and countless Devour runes appeared and formed a huge spike in the void, which turned into a stream of light and shot towards Black Eyes. Black Eyes' face flickered. He waved the Black Eye Demon Sword in his hand, and his 6 eyes opened. 6 eternal sovereign true spirits, Black Tortoise, White Tiger, Kunpeng, True Dragon, Qilin, and Fenghuang, appeared and cast various defensive and offensive spells barreling towards the Devour Heaven thrust. Mobilizing the sealed power of the 6 eternal sovereigns with a sword strike, this is Black Eye's strongest secret method. The huge spike tore through the sky, pierced through the defensive spells of the 6 eternal sovereign true spirits, and stabbed the Black Eye Demon Sword. The twisted black skin of the giant centipede appeared on the Black Eye Demon Sword, and a layer of strange, sticky liquid appeared. The spike pierced through the skin of the black clam, blasted the Black Eye Demonic Sword in 2, and then stabbed into Black Eye. Fearsome Devour force erupted and frantically devoured Black Eye's eternal origin. How is this possible? How can this be? You just advanced to the 3rd Firmament Eternal Realm, how can you be so powerful? Black Eye issued a heart-wrenching roar, and the eternal origin inside him was extracted. A look of horror on his face, he screamed miserably and turned into dust that dissipated with the wind. As soon as the Black Eye Demon Sword broke, the 9 eternal sovereigns sealed inside flew out and tried to escape. Become resources for my evolution. Yang Feng spread the fingers of a hand, and a devour black hole emerged and devoured the 9 eternal sovereigns' eternal origin. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.